front arrives, and any storms that do materialize have the potential to produce strong or even damaging wind gusts. It turns much more comfortable by Wednesday night. In fact, you'll feel that humidity dropping during Wednesday evening and low temperatures late Wednesday night falling down to 50 to 55 degrees under a partly cloudy sky. Thursday and Friday look dry with low humidity, highs near 70. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Stocks down so far this Tuesday. The Dow off 99, the NASDAQ down 71, S&P is down 14. The Red Sox play Kansas City tonight on TIC. At 6:40, the pregame there. Yanks try to make it 2 straight over the Jays at the stadium. The Mets continue their series in D.C. with the Nationals. Eastern League, the Yard Goats in New Hampshire, and it's Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA. Cleveland and the Knicks from Madison Square Garden. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
A little bit of skill can save you a lot of money.
You don't need to call in a pro, and that's a way to save a little bit of money.
Casey Finn of the DIY Playbook says some do-it-yourself projects include
painting, wallpapering, swapping out a light fixture.
And there are numerous free online sources to help you get started.
Everything is online. You can go to YouTube, you can go to Instagram, and you can watch a 30-second tutorial.
I'm Rob Hart.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
When kitchen plans hit a setback, having the right partner makes all the difference. At Dean Cabinetry, our family-owned business brings over 25 years of experience to every project, helping homeowners navigate every step of a kitchen remodel. If you already have cabinet plans, we'll work with you to match your design and budget, often with higher quality at a competitive price, without starting over. Dean Cabinetry, your kitchen cabinet partners from start to finish.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! All right. Wake up, the day's almost over. Whatever you got left in you, bring it to the show right now. All you scallywags, nutmeggers, and conversationalists, and the people in the Lamont administration known as the haters. It is Reese on the radio right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. I want to get to my guest immediately, but today's program is brought to you by a lot of people who are scared to death of this very show, and that includes the Secretary of State, and it also includes a whole bunch of other people. But I do have to say one person who is on the left who is not afraid to talk to Reese on the radio, weirdly enough, was Matt Blumenthal. That's right. And he will be our guest on this program very soon. Speaking of guests on the program today, we also have House Minority Leader Vin Candelora on the program. But let's get to the most important interview I think I've anticipated for a while. A story we broke here with the help of my good friend Mark Walsh. You may know him as Mark from West Hartford. This all started at the Solomon Schechter School in West Hartford. Where a woman contacted Mark to bring attention to what was happening with her child, which then led to other parents coming forward to talk about what was happening or what had happened with their children. And the lack of response by people who should have mandatory reported, should have stood by these mothers and these parents, and did everything they could to thwart them, to keep this under the rug. And now they want more than the results of what happened to the person who had done wrong to their children. They want the administrators, the principals, and whoever else was involved to pay a price for what they tried to cover up, on how they tried to shut them down, and how they tried to ruin them. Not just their reputation, but just attack them in ridiculous ways. And again, I applaud Mark Walsh for bringing this to my attention, and I applaud these women who came forward to me. And for the first time, and I spoke to both of these ladies, we had to actually alter their voices because they were afraid of the retaliation. But they've gotten some part of justice for their children, and they join me now. For the purpose of those who are listening or watching online, on Facebook, on X, or on YouTube, we are not going to put them on camera. Because even though they are very bold and they don't care whether or not you see their faces, I wish to protect them, because what they're doing in this state and trying to bring attention to will only bring them more and more ire, and I don't want to put their faces out there. These are women, these are mothers, and to be honest with you, their opposition doesn't care about attacking them. So we will protect them, but they are here. We're not going to give their last names, but Samantha is here, the first woman who I spoke to, and the second mother I spoke to, Mihkal. And I'm going to screw up your name like the Dickens, Mihkal. So say it for me again so I get it right. Mihkal. See, I don't know why. I don't know that. I was married to two Jewish women. I should know how to say your name. Samantha is here as well. Bring your microphone up, Samantha, so everybody can hear you. Samantha, you were the first mother to bring this to our attention about what happened to your child. Mihkal will then follow up with you what happened with yours. But Samantha, please talk about a little bit, because I know it's a very long story on how we get to this place. So I'll set you up. This was something that you saw in your child, did not hear a lot about till your older child brought it to your attention that this individual was inappropriately tickling, as it was described, your child.
So that is correct. My child started first grade. We noticed a lot of changes in my child, but obviously with no explanation. It was the kind of thing as a parent that left you searching for answers. And ultimately, it was like we started to notice she didn't want to go to school. She didn't tell us about what happened at school. She started to withdraw. She shut down. And it really wasn't until her older sister came home and told us that she had seen her teacher touching her in what she felt was an inappropriate manner. So now we have an 8-year-old coming home and saying, Mom, Dad, I've seen something that's concerning and you need to do something about it. And that's what we did.
Right. Now, this led to you reaching out to the school that your child attends, which is Solomon Schechter School.
So it's the Solomon Schechter Day School
Right.
of West Hartford.
Of West Hartford.
And I want to be very clear that in the moment we received this information, we did not get our pitchforks and start a riot. We actually, wanted to take time to pause, process, and be sure about what we were doing, because these kind of allegations are the kind of thing that could ruin someone's life.
Correct.
And I did not take that lightly. I wanted to be 100% sure in the information that I was about to bring forth to the school, that I was true, correct, and accurate in what I was alleging.
I need to make this clear, Samantha, because in our discussion, our first conversation ever, not only did you make that clear, but you didn't see this as something like a calculated attempt to get truth. You were trusting in the school you had invested your family in and wanted to not just give the benefit of the doubt. You just wanted to make sure that, as you just said, you didn't want to come up with an accusation that someone was misrepresenting.
So I want to say this is not just about sending my child to school.
Right.
What Schechter built is a community.
Right.
They keep saying we're a community. We're there for each other. We protect each other. We're, if you need something, we help each other. So when I sent my children to school, not only was there the expectation that the school itself, the administrators, and the teachers would keep my children safe, these were mothers. Children of theirs had play dates at my home. These mothers joined me around my table, ate meals with me. I've been to their homes. I've always felt like not only are my kids in a school, they're in a place with mothers that I entrust my children to.
Second home.
Exactly. And I always had this false sense of security. Now I know that I was like, well, if something happens, they're going to take care of my kids the same way I would take care of my kids, the same way I would take care of someone else's kids if their care was entrusted in me. What I came to know is the truth is that's the furthest thing from what happened.
Now, Mihkal, you got into this fray a little bit later. How late after, or how soon after, if not longer, after Samantha's allegations, did you start saying to yourself, I'm noticing something as well? Because I know your story is somewhat similar.
Somewhat similar, but also somewhat different. So actually, one of the most disturbing parts of my child's experience is that my child didn't clock that something bad was happening.
Okay.
My child's experience, in a good way and in a bad way, I guess, was that this was just fun, harmless tickling, which as adults, looking at it from an adult lens, we know that it's not, right? That it's not harmless and that people shouldn't be touching anyone's child in places, just no touching, right? So my experience actually is that my child didn't say anything to me about it. And the way that I kind of was alerted to the fact that something was happening was that Sam called me. Sam texted me. She said, are you available? And I said, yes. What's going on? Is everything okay? And Sam said, no. And we had a phone call, and she told me what was going on with her child. And I mean, my jaw hit the floor. I was absolutely shocked, and I said, I'm going to pick up my children right now. I literally got off the phone with Sam and went and picked up my kids early that day.
What time of the day, do you mind my asking?
It was around noon.
Oh, wow,
And I
okay.
picked up my kids. I didn't explain to the school why. I just said, I'm going to pick them up early. And in the car on the way home, I began asking my children questions in a very playful, very I'm not prying kind of way.
Yeah.
Just talk
You
to
wanted
me.
them to trust you with information.
Well, not just trust me, but I wanted to make sure I really wasn't leading them in any way. I was
Yeah.
what kind of, what's funny, how do you, like, and I mean, I even recorded it because I wanted to have a record of the way that I was questioning my children and all of that, so that no one could then come to me and be like, were you telling them, And I mean, what came out of that was that, yes, he tickles, he was tickling my kid, and she was like, yeah, it's so fun, blah, 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 blah. And kind of, to me, that was concerning. I didn't like it. But again, I didn't go in with pitchforks, right? What I did was I emailed the school. I emailed one of the administrators at the school the next morning, and I said, I want to talk to you about something somewhat urgent. Can we have a conversation? We ended up talking. So I had picked up my kids early on a Wednesday. I emailed them on a Thursday, and Friday morning we had a conversation. We sat down. I explained, this is what's happening. And I was clear that, Sam and I are in contact. Like, I wasn't hiding anything. I said, I don't know that this is necessarily something that I need something done about right now, but I will tell you I don't want him touching my kid. Like, I don't want him touching. And at that point, the school assured me, oh, yeah, we know we're taking care of it. He's not touching anyone. And that's that. I mean, he'll never be alone in the classroom with the kids. And they were like, he never has been. But, I mean, the classroom is massive. It is a double class.
Oh, really?
With so it's one of those classrooms where, like, you could close off the wall and make it two classrooms, right? With two doors.
How many children, offhand?
Well, it was a dual age classroom, so they were first and second grade together. Okay. And
are we looking more than 30 kids?
No.
Okay.
Small. It's a small school. It's around 20 kids.
About 20 kids,
to 23, something like that.
Right.
So not a very large group of kids. A lot of, what I'm saying is there's a lot of opportunity, even if he's not alone in the room with the kids, there's a lot of opportunity to be shielded from view of other adults.
Wow.
So the idea that, okay, well, he's not alone in the classroom with the kids, but that didn't bring me much comfort. Mm-hmm. And again, in that moment, I said, I don't necessarily need you to do anything right now, right? I'm not going to come in here and say, fire him. That's also not my place. Mm. That's on the school. That's on the school to say, we need to take action.
But you wanted some assurities that your child was not going to be touched like this any further, and you wanted that concrete from the staff and the administration.
And that's what I was assured.
Right.
And then I think that at that point, I even remember, I even called Sam and I said, I feel comfortable. I'm okay at that point. But then when I found out that there were now other kids as well, there was another kid who had gone, again, independently to her parents and said that he was tickling her and it hurt. And then there was another kid who said that, the way he looked at her made her uncomfortable.
Wow.
And I mean, this is like, 7-year-olds, right? 6-7. Sorry.
Couldn't help yourself.
So sorry.
Sorry.
Live on the radio. So
6-7?
Yeah, 6-7. But these are young children,
right.
And they're coming to their parents saying, I'm uncomfortable with this grown man who's my teacher. I mean, alarm bells ringing.
Yeah, let me get to this part, Samantha. Now, while Mihkal is hearing this from her angle, she's starting to get more and more parents or learning more and more parents. Mm-hmm. On your end, you're having a conversation, or at least email and text message conversations with administrators.
Mihkal, I was very clear.
You got to get closer to the mic. Sorry.
Unlike Mihkal, I was very clear based on my daughter's experience, which was traumatic.
Right.
And it led to emotional disturbances, night terrors, inability to be alone. I was very clear that as long as the teacher was employed at the school, my child would not be returning.
Okay.
And instead of standing behind me when I came to the administration alone, I was dismissed. But even when they got a second complaint and a third complaint, I was still being assured that nothing was going to happen to my daughter, that he was spoken to, and that, basically what I was told is that the teacher was employed in good standing and that I should just return my children to school. But this was despite the fact that the administration was concurrently getting complaints about him touching other students.
Wow.
Ultimately, I believe the teacher would have remained there as long as, forever.
There was no real...
He was not dismissed, even despite 3 complaints, and then there was a 4th complaint. That parent did not come forward and did not press charges and still remains at the school today. I believe the only thing that caused him to no longer work at the school was because DCF opened an investigation, and that was paralleled with the police investigation. And when West Hartford police called the school and said, we are conducting an investigation, he was no longer employed there.
Who, by the way, just so we know, who instigated or initiated the DCF portion of this? Because
so that was by my home district.
Okay.
When I went to enroll my children in public school, because obviously my kids are out of school for a month because we could not reach an agreement about their return.
Right. So this would have prompted a DCF.
So it should have.
Yeah.
But when we could not come to an agreement about my children returning, because I refused to compromise that my children, none of my children were going to be in that building as long as that teacher was in that building.
Right.
Period. No, maybe this, maybe that. It was a hard, if this man is in the building, my children cannot safely return.
And you are, at this point, you are talking about multiple complaints. This is not just based on your own.
At this point, we already know 3 children have been touched.
Yeah.
The 4th comes later.
Right.
Because when the police are contacted by DCF, so DCF case is opened by my home district.
Right.
I go to enroll my children in public school. The administrator was very lovely, and she's like, wow, your house is kind of loud today. Why are your children not in school? And I said, well, because I can't send them to school. And then I begin to tell her the story of why I cannot send my children to school. You know, my daughter was touched inappropriately. We're not sending her back because the teacher's still in the classroom around children. She tells me to stop speaking. She says, I have to tell you, I'm a mandated reporter, and what you're telling me, I have to report it. Will you comply and provide me the information I need to make the necessary DCF report?
Stay where you are. We got to take a break. That is a great segue into what we're going to get into next. Thank you both for this and being here. I have no idea. The fact that we are sort of getting to a point where this stuff is coming to light and more is being done about it, and the fact that you can come forward now means a lot to a lot of parents in this state and a lot of these listeners who have been following your story since it started. So stand by for that. We'll be back. More news, more views. Samantha and Mihkal, who are former parents to children at the Solomon Schechter School, will return when we get back. It's Reese on the radio.
Are you a commercial building owner in southern New England? Are you frustrated with your roof services? Contact Eagle Rivet Roof Service today. Our skilled technicians provide tailored roof repair and maintenance programs to maximize your building's lifespan. With 24/7 emergency response and comprehensive service options, we are Greater New England's trusted commercial roofing provider. Visit eaglerivet.com for a complimentary inspection or call 860-953-1231. Protect your investment with Eagle Rivet.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like.
And now, a WTIC news update.
.2:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We'll have the WTIC Weather Center forecast coming up, and the hot temperatures changed the schedule for some school districts in the state today. New Britain and Bristol dismissed students early. Same goes for students at Silas Deane Middle School in Wethersfield. They had a chiller unit there that failed, so that necessitated the early dismissal. Governor Lamont held a ceremonial bill signing for legislation which now allows no excuse absentee ballot voting. Measure approved on a ballot question by the voters in 2024 and then approved in the legislature. Voters can now fill out a request and provide it to their town clerk or submit an application request online to the Secretary of the State's office. Family of Stevie Jones says it hopes former police officer Joe Magnano is convicted of manslaughter in Jones's death back in February. They say the 55-year-old was having a mental health crisis when Magnano opened fire. Jones was brandishing a knife at the time. The police union says it disagreed with the Inspector General's report that came out Monday saying the shooting was not justified, and says it will work to reinstate Magnano to the force. One man dead following a shooting Monday night in Hartford. Police say they heard shots from an area of Cabot Street. Found 37-year-old Dante Barnes of East Hartford. He died at an area hospital. Russian President Putin has arrived in China for meetings with leader Xi Jinping. The visit coming less than a week after President Trump wrapped up his own trip to Beijing. Putin's two-day visit likely to be closely watched as Beijing seeks to maintain stable relations with the U.S. while also preserving strong ties with Russia. The 2023 Super Bowl will be played in Nashville. The owners approved that today. The game will be played in the brand new Nissan Stadium. First time the Super Bowl will be played in the Music City. Checking Wall Street, the Dow down 167 points, NASDAQ down 127, S&P down 25. WTIC Weather Center calling for a heat advisory through tomorrow evening at 8. In the meantime, sunny, record heat around here today in the mid-90s. Partly cloudy, mild, near 70 tonight. For Wednesday, mix of clouds and sun. Got a chance for a shower or perhaps a thunderstorm in the afternoon ahead of a cold front. Temps in the upper 80s to low 90s, and we cool it back into the low 70s for Thursday. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait. And don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-910-2233. That's 800-910-2233. 800-910-2233.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief. The best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
I'm just doing some logistics stuff behind the scenes, trying to, I didn't realize that I pronounced the particular name wrong, so I had to change it in the system. If you're just joining us, we are live with 2 mothers of, can I say, former students of the Solomon Schechter Day School in West Hartford. Samantha is here and Mihkal is here talking about their experience. I got it right, didn't I? Talking about their experience with the school, which not only led to them taking their children out of the school, but led to the arrest and a conviction of the person who abused their child, who is we have a whole bunch of other stuff to get into, which we will get into. I don't know if we have enough time, but I'm going to try to in a little bit to get as much in as if I can about this, because I have some other things that I had 3 o'clock and I got a guest that I have to get to. So I'm going to try to do the rest of this hour to get into this. So where we are now in the story is that DCF has been contacted. DCF is doing an investigation with the help of the West Hartford Police Department.
Well, the DCF officer, hearing the nature and concerns, he told me I'm looping in the West Hartford PD.
As a mandatory reporter.
No, he's the DCF.
Oh, okay, DCF. I apologize.
So it's already in DCF's hands, thanks to the Bristol Public Schools. They've made the report. Report is instantly accepted on the spot. DCF investigator reaches out. I tell him what's going on, and he says, I'm going to loop West Hartford PD in. And I said, oh, is that not standard protocol? And he basically says it's a case-by-case basis, but based on the nature of the allegations, he is going to call in the West Hartford police.
So they are seeing this as a DCF agent, seeing this, that this may very well be a criminal investigation.
So because he loops in the police, thankfully, the teacher was obviously indicted after an interview was done with my child, and we now know he pled guilty and has been sentenced. But the scary part is, had that DCF investigator, who I believe is a veteran investigator of over 20 years, not called West Hartford police in, I believe we wouldn't be here today.
Right. You believe that this probably would have been...
The case was closed. DCF closed the case as unsubstantiated.
Really?
Had he not been arrested, there would be nothing. The case would be closed. He'd still be in the classroom today.
I don't want to sound crazy here, but the DCF closes the case. The police keep the case going.
Correct.
But even with the case now, in essence, leading to an indictment, I could imagine an arrest or an indictment, all of that, DCF still just keeps the case closed because they're not investigating anything further on whether or not there's any criminality or abuse that may have been, I would say, allowed by the school.
Essentially, DCF says that the actions were inappropriate and not professional, and that it does not arise to the level necessary to substantiate a DCF claim. What? That's right. You heard me. So enough to get an arrest warrant.
But not enough for DCF to continue an investigation into further.
And so that you understand, a DCF claim that is marked unsubstantiated will not turn up in a background check unless the person ordering the background check gets a waiver from the candidate that says they are allowed to request, quote, any and all background, which means that if a school doesn't go above and beyond and make that request and get the authorization from the candidate, they won't see anything in the DCF report that is marked as unsubstantiated.
This almost seems, I mean, because we just had a law passed that gives DCF more powers.
More powers to shut cases and not help children.
This is not, trust me, when I tell you there are new and inventive ways for DCF to drop the ball, this is definitely a new one. The other part that's always important about this, Samantha and Mihkal, there is how Solomon Schechter dealt with this. Because, again, as you both said in the beginning
they said it wasn't necessary to report this because, again, they hid behind, there's a new law that says you're allowed to conduct your own investigation.
This is important. Yes, that's I was about to get to that. So
the school claims that they didn't initially contact DCF upon first hearing my allegation.
Even though they're mandatory reporters.
Because they claim this new Connecticut statute allows them the opportunity to conduct their own internal investigation. And, of course, when I, by email, asked what was the scope of this investigation, who were they going to talk to, what were they going to do during the course of this investigation.
And the reason why you were asking that is because you were assuming that children who had reported this would be involved.
Yes, because we wanted to know if our children were going to be spoke to, were other children going to be spoke to. I mean, if you're seeing 1, 2, 3 children and their parents are coming forward, don't we need to talk to all the students in the classroom about the conduct?
It would be appropriate, yeah.
No. It wasn't done.
And what did the email say when you asked for what was going to be the scope of this investigation?
It was never answered.
Wow.
That is correct. They hid behind, we're doing our own investigation. It is not necessary. And in fact, the administration told me that they felt that the allegations that I brought forward did not warrant reporting to DCF.
Now, Mihkal, I know you're not a shrinking violet in all of this, but I know that while Samantha was pretty much going scorched earth, where was your position on this as you're trying to get details to this? What was your sort of exchange with the Solomon Schechter School?
So I will say that when I came to them,
It's okay. Is it delicate? Is it?
Well, no. So I'm sitting there and I'm just telling them what happened, and I said, I told them, I said, we need more transparency as a community. We need to understand what's happening. If something like this is happening, as a parent, I would rather know than be hearing from other parents. This happened, that happened.
Right.
I want to hear it from the school. And at that point, I was told, yes, ideally, in a situation like this, the school would kind of be in charge of the information that's being disseminated.
Right.
But obviously, we know parents are talking. And then there still wasn't transparency at that point.
And the interesting part about this, Mihkal and Samantha, is that although Samantha is, in essence, having all of these exchanges because she almost feels as though she's being ignored or dismissed, you are trying your best to sort of follow their lead because they're kind of ensuring you that this is going to be a community issue that they're going to deal internally. Was that the impression you were getting?
Somewhat. I think that I really wanted to believe that the school had our backs and that the school was going to do the right thing. At that point, whatever history or issues that I had, I still overall believed that
had they reacted, we would still be at the school today.
Right.
My kids were in that school for a reason. We have cultural reasons that I had my kids in that school specifically, and the fact that we now have left the school and have essentially been run out of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Excommunicated.
Yeah.
It's a huge betrayal personally, but I will say that the biggest betrayal and what kind of led to my feeling this way now is that when the first arrest happened, when the teacher was arrested at the end of January, an email went out to the school community
after Mark posted about his arrest,
saying, this is what happened, this is what we did, blah, 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 blah. But then there were things that were left out, things that were strategically omitted, things that were strategically misleading. And
Do you care to venture what some of those things were?
It was about controlling the narrative.
Yeah,
they truly wanted to make sure the stories seem one-sided, protect the image. Oh, we did everything right. In fact, an email was sent where they essentially said we're the first ones that actually did anything.
Yeah, that was later. That was later.
The 50 emails and exchanges back and forth between myself and the administration. They keep telling me nothing's wrong, nothing needs to be done. But now they're gonna get up on a pedestal.
Now
and
they're the
act
hero.
Like the heroes.
Yeah, this was very
but
interesting.
That was later.
No, I remember this distinctly. This part was the part that blew my mind was because, Samantha was kind of the whistleblower publicly with this, right? You were coming here because you kind of felt like there was no one in the media who was covering this. Nobody had any interest.
Silence gives them power.
Exactly.
And although the administration wasn't the one that touched my child, their complacency allowed for other children to get touched.
That's the other part.
And so when that arrest came out, I wasn't happy with that email that went out. I felt like it left out crucial details. For example, the email was strategically written to make it seem like one complaint came out, and then
they immediately jumped on it.
And then a DCF report was filed, and then the police investigation was opened.
All appearing as if Solomon Schechter had done all this.
Yeah, making it seem like there was one child, then a second child, and then he was dismissed. They left out the fact that there were actually 4 reports. They really, it was very strategic. It seemed like it was written specifically to mislead. And so we had, these group chats of parents in different classrooms.
This is important.
I messaged a group chat, and in the past, they've always said, oh, let's not, we shouldn't be discussing, any complaints about the school in this chat. It's just to exchange information. So I very carefully wrote, this isn't the place to discuss this, but if you want to know more about this story, I have, firsthand experience. I know more than what's being told, and there is more to the story. Please reach out. I can make a separate chat because I want to get the story out there.
Right, you wanted to share this with parents.
And I was descended upon.
Yes.
I think that's really the only way to say
publicly humiliated.
The number of people in that group chat, parents, so it was either members of the board or just other sycophantic parents. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yeah.
Perfectly.
That were just like, no, trust the school, go to the head of school. He's the only one who can tell you what's happening. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but this was the essential idea. I was called a gossip. I was told this goes against our values as a Jewish community. I'm sorry, but Judaism absolutely 100% stands behind protecting children. And it's not gossip if you're telling your own story. So I was painted as someone who was just looking to stir up trouble.
And as you were already expressing that this was something you were going through personally.
I did express that in the chat.
And they were still treating you like you were an outsider who had no stake in it.
What is your goal here? And then I got a voicemail and a text message from the head of school once he was alerted to what was happening in this group chat. And when I didn't immediately reply to him, because clearly he was panicking, and that's the impression that I got, an email went out to the entire parent list of that class, calling me out by name, saying, didn't
answer the phone
Mihkal
call.
didn't answer me, and this is the only way I could think to reach out. I resent the implication that something like that the school is hiding something. I encourage open conversation. Now, at that point, I basically was bullied into taking a phone call from him. I discussed that what I really would like would be for a forensic psychologist to come in and speak to the kids. And he said, no, that's a good idea. And at that point, I said, great, maybe we can actually have some real conversation. That never happened. They never brought anyone in. The next day, a quote unquote open conversation with parents who wanted to show up, like 5 people showed up, happened, and I was told that I wasn't attacked in the group chat. So that was lovely.
Mihkal, hold on. We got to take a break. Samantha, there is a very, very key element to this story that we're missing in the last break that we're going to have here. And I'm sure that you remember this. This was the conversation between you and a certain individual about your children returning to the school that I want you to convey.
We have the solution to it all.
I know. Hold on. I want to take a break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, but I want to get to this. This was probably, to me, the most, I would say, I'll use the word egregious, the most egregious part of this conversation when we return. Stand by. We're talking about the parents who had to remove their children from the Solomon Schechter School, day school, I should say, in West Hartford, now that the teacher in question has been arrested, convicted, and is out of the school. We'll return. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
When a contractor needed to quickly lock down valuable equipment on site, they called the leader in mobile storage, Eagle Leasing. We delivered a clean, watertight storage container exactly where they needed it. Call 1-800-GET-EAGLE or go to eagleleasing.com. You see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
When a contractor needed convenient office space on their job site, they called the leader in mobile offices, Eagle Leasing. The next day, we delivered a clean, high-quality office trailer and put it exactly where they needed it. Call 1-800-GET-EAGLE or go to eagleleasing.com. You see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
Eat it up, the Hartford Yard Goats. Eat it up.
The Yard Goats return home Tuesday, May 26th. Tuesday is Unicorn Night, presented by Capital Region Education Council. We plays the Hartford Rockettes May 27th, presented by Longview RV Superstores. And Thursday, May 28th, the first 1,000 fans get a David Ortiz Rockettes bobblehead, thanks to Performance Pump and Well Services. Fireworks on Friday, thanks to Chet 529. Fireworks on Saturday, and kids run the bases on Sunday.
Eat it up. Oh, yeah.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back with Mihkal, I'm doing that right, am I? Mihkal, and Samantha, who's here. I am really, really off my game. Again, 2 Jewish wives, and still off my game. And Samantha, who are here, former parents of kids who went to the Solomon Schechter Day School in West Hartford. Samantha, I left it off with you because there is a really, really, I would almost call it a consequential email or back and forth between you and the head of the school at Solomon Schechter. What made this to me so over the top and egregious was the fact that you were essentially asked for your child to come back to the school, and there would be
a restorative justice meeting.
A restorative justice meeting. Now, folks, I want you to understand this scope. The objective that they were saying, the head of the school was going to bring in Samantha and her child.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to be there.
Oh, no, you weren't?
No, so the way that it was pitched to me.
Oh, no. I thought you had to be there for this.
No, actually, I'll tell you exactly how it happened. So I'm told, the administrator has a wonderful idea how we're going to have a resolution to this whole problem, and my kids are going to return to school. We're going to hold a restorative justice meeting. I nearly fall out of my seat, and I say, and by what do you mean? So we're going to bring in the teacher. So this is a 47-year-old man, and we're going to bring in my daughter, who is 6 years old, and they're going to sit in a room together, and he's going to apologize and tell her he's not going to touch her again. To which I say, he's not going to be in a room with her alone, to which this administrator says to me, no, we'll have our school counselor there. Not you can be there. Even still, school counselor aside, me aside, my daughter was never going to be put in that position because that's not restorative justice. That's fear and intimidation.
Right. And that, to me, I couldn't even understand it. When you said it to me, can I be honest with you? When you told me that that was a resolution in all of this, I thought you were lying to my face. I looked at you, I said, there's no way anybody did that. There's just no way. But you have documentation of this.
I do, and I have an apology that this was suggested to me.
There you have it. So we're not going to be able to get into everything. So I would like, if this is possible, because I think that more of this needs to go on, this conversation going up, because you, well, maybe not so much you, but I know Samantha has an agenda here. And if you could, in like 60 seconds, what would you want some justice in all of this beyond the scope of the teacher who went to jail or got arrested and was convicted? What do you want to see happen if you can?
I want DCF change and reform, and I want anti-grooming laws on the book. There's something like 19 states in the United States that have anti-grooming laws, and Connecticut is not one of them. And part of the biggest hurdle and challenge here is that I was told nothing could be done because my daughter was not, and this is graphic, not penetrated.
Right.
And I can't say whether that's true or not true because, honestly, my daughter will not talk about what happened to her.
Okay.
So till this day, we still don't know the full scope of what happened to my child. And what I want to say is I'm calling upon everyone to come together and unite. And I know that Representative Candelora is coming on the show.
Right.
And I am leaving a letter in
I have the letter. I have the letter. I'm going to give it to him.
I'm calling him out and saying, I'm a mom of a child that was victimized, and I'm asking for your help to make DCF an effective agency that actually does their job investigating and protects children, and to help me on this mission to put anti-grooming laws on our books.
Mihkal, I'm doing it wrong. Mihkal, what's the last word that you can give in all of this? I know that you're a little, not all that on the anti-grooming thing, so I totally get that.
I know, I am absolutely for anti-grooming laws.
Okay.
I think that if someone is setting themselves up and testing the waters and imposing themselves to see what they can get away with children, that's grooming, and that absolutely should be illegal, should be on the books, should be written in such a way that it's clearly defined and actionable. So
it's not okay to prey on children.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think that grooming has a very clear definition, and I think that getting those laws on the books should be a no-brainer.
Well,
I'm all for getting those laws on the books.
We are working very, very hard and diligently with the House Republicans to work on getting this law written. And if anything, to at least get a vote on it. There's a likelihood that people will push back against it, but we want them on the record on this.
Who would push back against something to protect children?
Yeah, you know what? This sounds crazy, but there are a lot, and I know that that's going to happen. But I want to work this out so we can get people to do it. I've only got a couple of seconds, but I'll say this. Will both of you please come back to the program in a couple of weeks?
Yes.
So I want to spend a little more time on this, and because we have this part of the story out, there's way more to it that we're never going to get to in the time allotted.
Can I say something just 10 seconds?
10 seconds.
If it weren't for the DCF investigator and Bristol Public Schools for making the actual DCF report that triggered everything, we wouldn't be here today, and this person would still be in a classroom around children. So the fact that DCF called in the police shows us that we need a open gate system between DCF and the police. They need to share information.
I got to go. They're going to kick me off. Anyway, thank you, Samantha. We'll be back. WTIC Newsroom starts now.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
3 o'clock, Hartford, temperature 94 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News at 94, at least unofficially, ties the record that was set back in 1962. We've got the heat advisory that is up through tomorrow evening. All the forecast details coming up. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says a manslaughter charge against former Hartford police officer Joe Magnano is just the first step in achieving justice for Stevie Jones. The 55-year-old Jones was the subject of a mental health call back in February and was brandishing a knife at the time when he was fatally shot by Magnano. The Inspector General brought charges Monday. More from WTIC's Dave Mager.
Crump was asked about the Hartford Police Union's assessment that Stevie Jones was an imminent threat, so Officer Magnano was justified in using deadly force.
We think it's asinine when you look at the documentary of death.
He says other officers were de-escalating and had the scene under control. Then Magnano raced there from another district without being called and opened fire within 34 seconds of arrival.
How do you, on one hand, say these officers did a good job not shooting, but then conclude that this officer did a good job in less than 34 seconds shooting them?
He believes a murder charge would have been justified and $50,000 bond was too light. In Hartford, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
On the heels of the resignation of the CSCU Board of Regents chair on Monday, Governor Lamont admits there's a lot of work to do in the system. Marty Guay tendered his resignation weeks after the interim chair stepped down amid sexual harassment allegations and a year after his predecessor left following questions about spending. Lamont says it was time to move on.
I think it was time to make a change. Look, Board of Regents, we had to take care of those allegations. They had to have a strong, quick, independent investigation, full transparency. They're going to investigate not just the allegations against Baduco, but how the central office and how the board responded.
Now, there's been criticism about how the system dealt with the harassment allegations, including accusations that Guay had once fired an employee for reporting sexual harassment. No excuse absentee ballot voting is now the law of the land in Connecticut. Question was put to voters in 2024, and the majority voted in favor. A ceremonial bill signing earlier today at the Old State House with supporters of the measure, efforts of which date back about 15 years. Jess Zaganino is the policy director for the ACLU of Connecticut.
This bill signing is a milestone for democracy in Connecticut. Voting is the foundation of democracy, the right through which all other rights are protected. House Bill 5001 is a landmark bill, finally allowing no excuse absentee voting for all, alongside other provisions that aim to make voting more accessible and to prevent outside interference in our elections.
Those who so wish can submit an application for an absentee ballot through their town clerk or online to the Secretary of the State's office. The bill also strengthens penalties for the harassment of election workers. Hartford police continue their investigation into a Monday night fatal shooting. They say about just before 11:30, they got the call. They actually heard the shots fired, the area of 86 Cabot Street. When they arrived, they found 37-year-old Dante Barnes unresponsive. He later died in an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. So far, police have not announced any arrests or a motive for that shooting. Thousands are out of their homes in Southern California because of a fast-moving wildfire.
As of right now, we have over 17,000 people that remain under evacuation order.
That's Andrew Dowd with the Ventura Fire Department. More from reporter Tina Patel.
The latest numbers that we have is that 1,400 acres, nearly 1,400 acres, did burn, but unfortunately there is 0% containment. But what firefighters just told us is that overnight they had a lot of firefighters that were out here. They were making lines both with dozers and hand crews. They also had some water-dropping helicopters that were able to go at night with night vision, and they said they did feel like they made a lot of progress. They're continuing that work today, but they are keeping an eye on what the weather conditions will be like.
WTIC News time is 3:04. Checking traffic. Do have one road closure. It's down along the shoreline in Madison, 95 on the southbound side between exits 60 and 59. That is currently closed due to a crash involving a motorcycle. Volume delays beginning to pick up Nothing really serious, mostly confined to the shoreline, the 95 corridor out of Stamford. And we also have the exit 1D off-ramp closed in New Britain on Route 72 East due to a crash. Here's the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
The very hot weather that we had this afternoon will continue through the overnight. The low temperature 70 with a mostly cloudy sky. Cloudy, breezy, and hot. The high temperature 95 tomorrow with a couple of thunderstorms late. Those thunderstorms can produce damaging wind gusts and localized heavy rain. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, cooler, the low 57. Cooler, less humid Thursday with periods of sun, the high temperature 68. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday with a high of 69. Cloudy and cooler to start the holiday weekend. A couple of showers possible on Saturday, the high 62. And rain and drizzle for your Sunday with a high of 63. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Markets are in the red this Tuesday afternoon. The Dow down 239 points. NASDAQ's down 168 and the S&P's down 37. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Is life insurance still on your list of New Year's resolutions? Now is the perfect time to add it. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Reese will be there.
Mr. Mayor.
How you doing?
You know who I am?
Your face looks familiar. Oh, okay.
Reese on the radio.
Okay, yeah.
I've been dying to get in a room with you to get some audience with you.
Okay.
Is it possible to come on the show?
Yeah.
Reese will be there.
Well, I'm saying it's $500 million that did not go back to tourism or to the towns that it was allotted for. I kind of feel like people are treating it like, oh, it's just $500 million. I mean, there's some people who are outraged.
This is all precedes me, by the way, but
Reese will be there.
So make sure you're tuned in Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. so that Reese can be there for you.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog and your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older, be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work, be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I don't think there we go. We're back. Reese on the radio live on WTIC News Talk 1080. I got to fix my camera here because I was busy fixing the House Minority Leader's camera, but not my own. And speaking of which, he is here in the studio, House Minority Leader Vin Candelora, who's here. And thank you so much on short notice. When did we talk? Like a couple of weeks ago?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Back and forth.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, you gonna come on the show? I was like, yeah, I'll be there. Now I saw you at the convention, and I'm sure you were excited for what transpired on that floor at the convention. considering everything that happened leading up to it.
Yeah.
What was Thursday like when the bombshell of Aaron Stewart dropping out? There was so much rumbling about what the delegates were going to do come vote time 3 days later on Saturday. Was there a concern of yours, or did you really believe that the party would rally?
Yeah, no question. I mean, it's always a concern when something like that happens. It could put your party into turmoil. Aaron had a lot of supporters. It was highly emotional. And so people, some felt betrayed. Some people felt like it was unfair.
Yeah.
So you still had those raw emotions going into the convention. And there was a belief maybe that people would protest and maybe they wouldn't show up. Maybe they would support Betsy Mihkal and force a primary. But the one thing I think people thought was that we were going to walk into a fractured convention.
Yeah, it was so crazy because I get there on Saturday. I don't show up on Friday, so I have no prior knowledge to what the mood was, the day before, because that can really set up everybody to understand we're probably going to end up in an embarrassment on Saturday. Cameras rolling, people there, what could happen. So I get there roughly about, I want to say maybe just before 8 o'clock. And there were some people who were walking in, so-called know-abouts, and they know about everything. And the first thing they said was, there were two things that they said to me. One person said, I don't think that the delegates that were going to vote for Aaron are going to show up. And it was early, so I couldn't really tell. And then another person whispered in my ear, I don't know, Betsy McCoy could see 15 as high as 30. Now, that one threw me for a loop. But I started to look around, and I'm starting to see people walk in. But I was under the impression this vote was going to happen right at 8 o'clock. It didn't take place until a little after 9. And then all of a sudden, something blew my mind. And I know, I want to ask you this because I got the same sense. I got this sense when I saw it, and I want to know if you did as well. I started to notice that the convention seats started to fill up.
Yeah.
There were no stragglers, no empty seating. It was packed. To me, said, because I wasn't there Friday, did they remove chairs? Are these the same chairs from yesterday? What's going on? And I start looking, and it starts filling up, and I go, oh, wait a minute. They're all here. Did that give you some sense of calm, or were you still waiting for the initial vote?
No, I was thrilled to see the turnout. I mean, people took their job seriously. When you were asked to be a delegate at a convention, typically, through your Republican town committees, it's an important trust that is bestowed upon you. So it was great to see that people showed up and exercised their role in democracy, regardless of what had happened leading up, whether your candidate was in or not. And it was a great turnout. I mean, I think we had, well over 90% of the delegates that were there Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was an impressive showing. And just on your part as the House Minority Leader, as a Republican leader, was there anything on your part, Stephen Harding's part, where you guys were running around sort of rallying the troops, or at least sort of gauging what it was looking like? What did you do in the interim?
It was sort of an upbeat morning, and it was interacting with people. It's always sort of a little bit of a reunion. You see people you haven't seen in a long time. There wasn't a lot of whipping that we've seen in the past.
Sure.
I think, because obviously Ryan Fazio was the front runner. So there was sort of a management of the people, making sure your delegates were there. They were holding firm on who they were going to vote for. But there wasn't a fevered pitch overall. So it was a fairly relaxed, comfortable atmosphere.
Was the vote surprising you as you saw the numbers tally, or did you kind of get a sense that it was going that way?
Once I saw the fifth CD come in with their votes, I think I knew Ryan would be all set and Betsy would not come near 15%.
Right.
Because that was sort of more of the Aaron Stewart stronghold. And if you saw a protest vote, you might see it coming out of the fifth.
Yeah.
So once that vote came out, I was pretty comfortable that he'd maintain the margin. One of my observations that I thought was great is that people didn't leave after the vote.
That's right.
They hung around to the end. They listened to the speeches. It was a very engaged group. I've gone to a lot of conventions. It's very rare that the room stays full all the way to the end of the speeches, surprisingly.
It was an incredible... I think the part was, and I know that you have expressed this as well as others, is that Republicans in that moment, we get the vote, nobody leaves, and if anyone leaves, it's very limited. I mean, there's probably one or two people. But Ryan comes up to take the acceptance, or makes his acceptance speech. And the crowd is raucous. It's no boos, no nothing. It is a unified party. It played well on the cameras. It was not phony. It was let's go. Like everyone was in November mode after that happened. And the energy in the room, it was funny because there were some young kids who were Fazio folks, and they were probably about 20. They're part of his team, maybe some family members. But those young kids were like shouting really, really loud. I looked at them and I said, I got to put you guys on my team. But they got really, really loud and raucous. But to be honest, what was amazing about that, they were being drowned out by the actual crowd.
Yeah.
And that said, when I looked around, I went, so much for this crowd being fractured.
Yeah, and it was, Ryan's speech, he hit the right marks. If you listen to him, he really has a positive message. And I think people will gravitate to that. So overall, it was just such a positive atmosphere. And, Republicans remember what it was like. You know, we know where we've been and where we've been going under Governor Lamont's rule. So I think that made it all the more sort of emphatic that people wanted to be there. They want to be part of a movement because they're tired of where they've been over the last 8 years.
You guys have had to deal with a supermajority for a considerable amount of time. Everything that you guys have sort of pushed back on this legislature has been, if anything, sort of fallen on deaf ears. We have a very liberal news media who really sort of treats you folks and treats the Republican Party in this state almost like a nuisance. That has got to be frustrating because it's frustrating to my listeners.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because one of the benefits I think that Republicans have and that Ryan has is being up at that Capitol. We have sort of honed in on our messaging and our arguments. And he's going to be able to take it to the governor. Now he has a CEP grant to do it.
Right.
He is well tested and is going to be able to push back on a lot of these narratives where it's sort of, and I've seen you do it with the governor just this weekend, when you start to scratch the surface on their rhetoric, they fall apart.
Yeah.
Because that's all they have is rhetoric. They don't have to do the deep dive. Whereas myself, when I get in front of the cameras, I get 45 minutes of being grilled with questions. And I'm okay with it. I'll live with it. It makes me a better person. I think it strengthens the Republican message. And all in all, as a party, we are better off for it.
Yeah.
I think Democrats would be better off for it, too, if the press had challenged them the same way.
That's okay. You got us.
Right, exactly. But, we have pushback on, and it's still incrementalism where we have moved. And that's why, the budget was controversial yet again. The governor over the last 6 years have gotten really good at spending money because of all that COVID-era money, the stock market performance. Throwing money at situations doesn't actually solve the problem.
Yeah.
So when you start looking at the data, the poverty rate is still at 10+%, where it was when he started to where it is now, despite the fact that he claims he's made people's lives better. When you start to actually look at the data and say, show us how, it actually demonstrates that our lives have gotten much worse under this.
I think he understands that our lives have gotten much worse. I'm going to, on the other side of the break, I'm going to ask you about the new bill that he signed and he had this big ceremony for. I was there. I'll talk to you about that. But I want to get to the sort of the meat of what you're talking about when it comes to Ned Lamont as of late. It's an election year and he's playing Santa Claus with taxpayer money.
Yeah.
But we've got a primary coming up between him and progressive Josh Elliott. And I'll tell you, I've made it very clear. I like the guy. He's as charismatic as they get. He's fun. He's funny. But he's a lefty. And he's a lunatic on this taxing the rich here in Connecticut. There is going to be a primary war between these two gentlemen fighting for how much of the taxpayers' dollars they're going to get or take for that matter. What should Republicans do in this? Should we sit back and just watch them fight it out? Or should we counter message what they're going to be initially fighting for? Because I have a piece from the Dennis House interview where Lamont says, Dennis House asked Lamont, Josh Elliott's critics say that you're not progressive enough, and Lamont pretty much responds by saying that, well, that's not true. We're progressive as we possibly can be. We pass this, we pass this, we pass this, which means that Lamont's going to be more leftist. He's going to try to meet Josh Elliott where he is. What can Republicans do to tell the people of Connecticut, you don't want a far left, Josh Elliott, or a further left Lamont?
Yeah, I mean, what's sort of interesting is I see both of them as being far left. The difference between Lamont and Josh Elliott is Lamont protects the billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Elliott wants to tax them. But under both scenarios, they both worship the government altar,
Right.
and they both want to spend more. The governor has pushed a lot of proposals that have pushed us into oblivion when it comes to spending levels. When you talk about the fiscal guardrails that he claimed he liked to protect, which sort of made him the fiscal moderate,
Yeah.
as he liked to call himself, he blew through all of them, spent almost $3 billion of volatile money in the last 2 years. So he doesn't really have his hat to hang on anymore that he is a moderate. I think the gig is up. He's exposed, and Josh is going to expose that. I mean, all the governor needs to do is start talking about those liberal policies, and people realize this guy really is to the left. That's the danger the governor has going into a general election. And I think to some degree, Republicans need to just sit back and watch, because it will demonstrate how far left that party has become.
Mm-hmm.
And they've really sort of cloaked themselves under the lies of being sort of moderate, which I haven't seen that. The only way Democrats were moderate is when there were more Republicans in the House and Senate, keeping them honest and pulling them to fiscal responsibility.
Yeah. I think that you're 100% right on the Lamont protecting the billionaires and Josh Elliott wanting to tax them. But to my question, I think that's what I mean when I say Lamont is going to be pushed so far to the left that he is going to have to go after his billionaire buddies, in order to prove to that, well, look, the delegates, I don't believe that the delegates are representative of the voters. I believe that margin, that 25% to 74%, I believe that margin is higher in Connecticut. Between the two, I think it's straight down the middle, 48, 52.
100% agree with you.
And I think that Josh Elliott is going to exploit that to make. I always said this about, and I know you follow politics the way that I do. I sort of look at it the way in which Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton were sort of trying to get that nomination in 2016. And Bernie Sanders had created such a groundswell of support. He was holding rallies that were just as big as Donald Trump's. And the party had to do some sort of, underlying sort of, nonsense to get Hillary, above past the finish line, primarily because the Democrat Party was going to have to toe the party line that was set by Bernie Sanders, that they were now Democrat socialists. And because they could not toe that line, they had to go with Hillary Clinton. Even if she is a Saul Alinsky socialist, they had to dress it up. Bernie Sanders was an avowed socialist. Yep. They didn't want to do that. I kind of feel like we're in that moment now with Josh Elliott and Ned Lamont, where Ned Lamont is the Hillary Clinton in this scenario, and there's not going to be anything to save him. The only thing left for him is to actually go as far left as he possibly can. Josh Elliott, I think, is going to have the Mamdani approach, which will definitely garner votes and support, and Lamont will have no choice but to moderate as far left as he possibly can.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's a great analysis. The difference is, Hillary Clinton, I think, did not have eight years under his belt.
Right.
So now, Governor Lamont has that record to run on. I think also, when you look at what's happening in New York City and with Governor Hochul and the loss of billionaires out of the state of New York, Connecticut has always had that same concern. When a progressive income tax is put into place in Connecticut back in 2000, I think it was 12, it might have been 2010 under Governor Malloy, that was done. We had budget deficits. We had no way to balance. We saw an exodus of hundreds of millions of dollars of people just changing their residency, and that hasn't stopped in the state of Connecticut.
No.
And I think so internally, the governor sort of recognizes I need to try to protect the tax base because people who are rich can change their residency, but it's a hard sell. Mm-hmm. And I think that certainly Josh Elliott appeals to the populace. My community is full of middle class. We don't have millionaires in the town of North Branford. And so for me, it's hard to sit there and fight against a capital gains tax. But you see the long-term ramifications of taxing and spending your way out. And that's where overall Republicans just philosophically don't believe that government can solve all our problems. But Josh is going to have a populist message that the governor's going to have a hard time pushing back on.
If you were to make a prediction, do you think it's going to be a close primary? You think it's going to be down to the wire between these two men?
I think it's going to come down to the city vote. I do think it all depends on getting, I think primary voters are a bit more sophisticated. On the Republican side, we tend to get more of a conservative vote out.
Sure.
On the Democrat side, I think the cities might carry water for the governor. Otherwise, I think the wealthy suburbs will vote against their own interests like they've been doing. When I first got elected in 2006, the Gold Coast, Fairfield County, was all Republican. Republicans have now taken a lot of the middle-class suburbs. They've gone east, and the Democrats have taken over Fairfield County. Those suburbs, it'll be very interesting to see if they're going to go for Josh Elliott and vote against their interests. That could happen because watching the convention vote, you saw a lot of suburban people voting for Josh Elliott.
Yeah, this is going to be, like I said, I'm very interested in that process. And you're right, the cities will make a difference. But I have a strange feeling, before we go to a break, I have a strange feeling that Josh Elliott is going to hit those. Look, Hartford, New Haven, and what's the other one?
Hampton's his hometown.
Yeah, right. I think that he is going to hit those areas so much because what he's talking about is what is red meat to those cities. I'm going to get you free stuff, and I think that he'll pull those cities and force Lamont's hand to say, you know what, I've got more free stuff. I mean, it's literally going to be competing Santa Clauses.
Right,
in a
right.
large degree. Let's take a break. We're here with House Minority Leader Vin Candelora. We'll talk to him some more. I want to talk to him about the bill that was signed today by Governor Lamont about free, not so much fair, elections with the absentee ballot when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
The Travelers Championship. This is where greatness locks in. See the world's best. Defending champ Keegan Bradley, Scotty Scheffler, and more. June 24th through 28th at TPC River Highlands. Tickets at TravelersChampionship.com. Now is the time. This is the place.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
Have bad teeth that need to be replaced? Don't like removable dentures? Worry no more. Come on down to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester any day of the week and ask for the all-on-4 procedure. Call us at 860-643-1898.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30 Hartford temperature 94 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. And it has been a record-breaking day in the weather department today. Bradley International set a record 96 degrees, eclipsing the old record of 94 for this date in 1962. Heat advisory will remain in effect through 8 p.m. Wednesday. All the forecast details are coming up. And the hot temps did change the schedule for some school districts in the state today. New Britain and Bristol dismissed schools early. And same goes for students at Silas Dean Middle School in Wethersfield. They were given a half day when a chiller unit failed. Governor Lamont held a ceremonial bill signing for legislation that now allows no excuse absentee ballot voting. Measure passed during a ballot question, or voters approved it during a ballot question in 2024. They can now fill out a request and provide it to a town clerk or submit an application request online through the Secretary of the State's office. Family of Stevie Jones says it hopes former police officer Joe Magnano is convicted of manslaughter in Jones's death in February. They say the 55-year-old was having a mental health episode when Magnano opened fire. Jones was brandishing a knife at the time. The police union says it disagrees with an inspector general's report this week, saying the shooting was not justified and will work to reinstate Magnano to the force. Vice President Vance held the White House press briefing today, and he commented on the creation of that $1.7 billion anti-weaponization fund to compensate supporters of the president who claimed they were unfairly treated during the Biden administration.
Let's say hypothetically, a person is accused of doing something that they never actually did, that they got a kangaroo court, that they had a judge who mistreated them. I think that we should look at those things case by case. We're not making commitments to give anybody money. We're just making commitments to look at things case by case.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche did not rule out compensating people who participated in the January 6th uprising at the U.S. Capitol. More than 17,000 under evacuation orders as a wildfire continues to threaten suburban homes in Southern California. The Sandy fire in the hills above Simi Valley, just northwest of L.A., had consumed more than 2 square miles of dry brush. WTIC News Time is 3:32. Here's our forecast.
Following a very hot day, we've got a mostly cloudy sky, warm with a low temperature of 70 overnight. Another day of oppressive heat and some humidity with a high of 95 tomorrow. Thunderstorms late in the day can bring some downpours and localized damaging winds. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, cooler down to 57. Periods of sun Thursday, the high 68. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high 69. And a few showers possible, cloudy and cooler Saturday with a high of 62. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network in Farmington, westbound 84 between exits 37 and 36. Looks like the right lane taken out due to a one-vehicle crash. We've also got the exit 1D off-ramp in New Britain on 72 East closed for a crash. Down along the shoreline, 95 South is closed between exits 60 and 59. With the crash involving a motorcycle, and a 3-vehicle crash on the Merritt Parkway, Fairfield, northbound between exits 27 and 28 that has the left lane blocked. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
Herbie Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by University of Maryland Global Campus.
Google has launched a new screenless fitness tracker powered by artificial intelligence. The Fitbit Air is Google's smallest tracker yet, packing high-fidelity sensor technology in a tiny pebble that tracks heart rate and variability, blood oxygen levels, sleep stages, and other health metrics. Google says the Fitbit Air has up to a week of battery life and takes just 5 minutes to charge for a full day. I'm Jason Brooks.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHAP.
Are you looking for a podcast about pro football that doesn't put you to sleep with an avalanche of analytics or insult your fandom with brainless hot takes? Well, hi. I'm Dan Hansis.
And I'm Mark Sessler.
Oh, hi, Mark. And we're the hosts of Heed the Call, the NFL podcast you've been waiting your whole life for.
Heed the Call covers every game, every storyline, everything that matters, and we do it all with a touch of mirth.
Football is fun. Why shouldn't your football podcast be the same?
Follow and listen to Heed the Call NFL podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Life takes unexpected turns, doesn't it? Divorce, the loss of a loved one, a personal injury, losing your job. Suddenly you're searching for someone new you can trust to guide you through. But what if you didn't have to start over? What if your legal team already understood you? At BPS Lawyers, we're more than just lawyers. We're a full-service law firm that's been part of this community since 1977. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com or call 860-CALL-BPS. Nick Painderis is responsible for the content of this ad. Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We're back. We are live with House Minority Leader Vin Candelora, Republican Vin Candelora. We're having a lively conversation behind the scenes, telling dirty secrets. And it's good to finally get you in the studio and get to talk to you. People don't understand this. Like when people call on the phone, I don't really get an opportunity to sort of like have an off the cuff conversation to find out, where you're at, what's going on, what's important to you. And it's I tell the people on the left to listen to the show, there's no, bones about it, no lies, no, misleading. I'm a conservative. I'm pushing the conservative agenda. It is important to me to meet the conservatives here in Connecticut to find out what their agenda is and if they need help to talk about it or to have a conversation with me about it. So I know what you're about. I've followed your career for quite some time now, and I know what you're up against here. One of the things that we know today is there was a constitutional redraw, so to speak, on absentee ballots here in Connecticut, signed into law today by Governor Lamont. They went the legal way. They actually wanted a constitutional amendment.
That's right.
And they asked the people to vote on it. They got what was it, 52-48, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, that thing was it was pretty close. And here we are, they signing this, and you and I were talking a little bit behind the scenes. You believe that this could come back to bite Democrats right in the rear end. Talk to people about why you believe that. And for those of you who don't know, what this is saying is that there is a no excuse absentee ballot. There's no because you're overseas, because you're sick, because you're disabled. This is if you don't want to have to go to the polls, you can request an absentee ballot to your home where you can fill out without having to go to the polls. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, that's right. You could basically get it any time.
Yeah, and just vote from your home. It's almost like voting for American Idol.
Mail it in.
Mail it in. You said that this could come back and bite them on the rump. Explain that a little bit.
It could. Well, if you look at, let's go to the topic that's on everyone's mind when you hear AB is the city of Bridgeport.
Mm-hmm.
They have quite the operation. I think enough people realize that there is fraud there in the way they conduct their absentee ballots. If you have a good operation, you could knock off sitting state reps or sitting state senators using the primary system and using an AB operation. It's a little cynical, but a city like that is set up for that type of abuse.
We saw it.
And nothing's been done about it over the years. So there weren't enough safeguards put around our absentee ballot process like they have in other states. So it potentially could be the Wild West. And I would suspect the Wild West isn't going to start out in a small, sleepy town like my town, North Branford. The Wild West is probably going to start out in cities like a Bridgeport and Stamford, who have already had some cases of absentee ballot fraud.
I was asking today, I asked the Secretary of State, and I even asked Matt Blumenthal, who was there. I think he's a co-chair on the committee that put this together. And I asked them, what things are in place to prevent fraud? And I don't know if I was articulating it poorly, but they didn't seem to have an answer for me. They thought I was just being, being combative in asking the question. The reason why I'm asking is because, as you mentioned, we saw absentee ballot fraud in Bridgeport to a serious degree. This isn't a joke. We got people facing felony counts. Wanda Pataki in particular. What's she facing, like 21 counts or something like that?
Yeah.
It's a considerable amount. This is not a joke. And all I was asking was, sure, everybody can get an absentee ballot, but what are the provisions? What do we have in line that when those ballots come in, there's a check and balance? And they didn't seem to have an answer, and they kept saying that we're still writing the law or writing those things out. Do you understand it that way, by the way?
Yeah, well, it's being ignored. So I'll say the AB law in it itself isn't as much of a problem. But when you pull in the drop boxes, for instance, that we still have post-COVID, that allows for people to stuff those mailboxes.
Correct.
If you get rid of those, and people either have to put a stamp and mail it, or go into town hall and hand it to somebody, that eliminates the fraud, or it cuts down
at least a degree of it. Yeah.
So those are the things that we should be looking at, trying to reduce. Why somebody thinks putting a mailbox outside a town hall for 24/7 for people to drop their ballots in, that is unaccounted for. It's not. Now we have a security camera on it. Great.
So
you can record the fraud, or if they get damaged or burned in a fire, how do you account for where those ballots are? To me, it's just crazy.
Yeah, if it's burned or if it's destroyed, the only people who are going to be able, I mean, those votes are gone.
You would have to then go to town hall and verify whether or not they received your ballot.
Right.
If they didn't, you'd have to, ask them to sort of invalidate it, and then you would go to and vote at the polls.
Right, which in essence, it's only creating the issue that they're trying to avoid because...
Yeah, and that's part of the frustration. Like right now, we have 14 days of early voting.
Mm-hmm.
All of our small towns are saying people are sitting around to collect one vote in an entire day. It's costing us money.
Do we do harvesting here by any chance?
We do.
Okay.
We still allow for the ballots, to be signed out and then collected and submitted, which, Massachusetts doesn't do it that way. You account for your own ballot. When you want your AB ballot, you email or request it. It goes to you. You fill it out and send it back. It's a little bit more orderly.
Right.
Connecticut sort of is going to have the Wild West going on.
Oh, I expect it.
And there wasn't anything done to safeguard that in this bill. And I think they should have. It was an opportunity to tamp down on the number of days of early voting. If you're going to allow no excuse AB, so you could get an absentee ballot at any time, you don't need to do both. And these poor registrars and town clerks are going to be exhausted come election day.
What I was trying to express to Matt Blumenthal was that, as you just described, this could come back to bite them when I said that Republicans can use this because they're fed up here in Connecticut. I can imagine Republicans are saying, I'm sick and tired of these people stealing elections, because that's their point of view. And they just go, forget it. We're just going to do it ourselves, which again sort of breeds that back and forth of this fraud going everywhere. Then no election is free and fair. Free it may be, but not fair. And you're just allowing this to sort of, as you say, the Wild West. This is going to blow up in Connecticut's face. But the only thing I believe that's going to cause this to go back to the original sort of state of where this was before the constitutional change is Democrats losing. And as you put it, maybe key seats, maybe key members of Congress or the legislature, just anything. Like somebody, if let's say Martin Looney was not retiring, if he had been around during this and he had lost the seat, this had happened to him, in fact, right?
I think when he ran for mayor once, that happened on the ABs, and you see it all the time. Mayor Ganem always won on the ABs.
Right.
That carried him over the line, and a lot of he faced a lot of criticism over it. And I know other state reps that were frustrated in their primary elections down in Bridgeport. They would lose on the ABs. So the issue is real, and I think if we see it happening come this August in the primaries, you're going to see Democrats want some change.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, because if the primary in August between Lamont and Elliott goes awry, Democrats are going to be fearless in screaming fraud. If this shows up, it's quite possible that Josh Elliott could beat the pants off of him. There is some Lamont fatigue in the Democrat Party. I called it months ago. It is without a doubt there. Elliott is young. The party wants young, and they want more left. We know that, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And Lamont is, he going on 72 soon? And people, Larson became a victim of that, of course, with Luke Bronin, a younger face. We're seeing this everywhere with the exception of Rosa DeLauro, but I said there's a rule behind that. I'll talk to you about that behind the scene. But we are seeing that Josh Elliott has a clear shot at unseating Lamont, and I am positive that come, August 11th?
Somewhere around
there.
Yeah.
I am almost certain that what you're going to hear are people who are in the Lamont camp screaming fraud for this very reason.
No question. I think people will be surprised. I'm not sure they're going to like the process that they've passed and put into place. And I already know our town halls don't like it. They want it reined in. And unfortunately, Democrats didn't rein it in. They went for that press release again. We have free elections, and it's gone too far. And those things, I think, will catch up with them as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, at least it'll be interesting. It'll be ugly, but it'll be interesting.
Yes, no question.
House Minority Leader Vin Candelora, thank you so much for being here. Anything that you want to let the folks know that we're working on? I know the session's over, but...
No, I think session never ends. Obviously, we're getting into campaign mode, so we have our conventions and caucuses this week.
Yeah.
But we keep seeing time and again more and more things erupting. Our Board of Regents and our higher ed system is now faced with yet another scandal. And those are the issues I think Lamont is going to have to answer to. It's tough being the incumbent for 8 years. You're accountable for all those things. So
yeah,
I think this summer is not going to be very quiet.
Without a doubt. I mean, from everything from Costas to CSCU and anything and everything else, McCrory, boy, did you see that vote?
I did.
Whoo, he got one. That's how I call writing on the wall, by the way.
He's got enough for a primary, so it will be interesting to see. He's been primaried before and he's won, so
really
don't count him out.
Okay.
Yep.
This is really going to be interesting. Thank you, Vin Candelora, ladies and gentlemen, House Minority Leader. I appreciate you coming in. Can't wait to have you back, and we'll see you soon, right?
Absolutely.
You got it. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1926 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1926 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1926 $10 gold Indian coin from the exclusive Anniversary Gold Collection, struck 150 years after America declared its independence. These 1926 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition. Call 1-888-201-7071 to secure your exclusive 1926 Special Anniversary Gold Collection $10 Indian coin. Plus, you'll receive a free bonus over a $125 value and free shipping with every order. Call 1-888-201-7071 now to secure your 1926 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Call 1-888-201-7071. Don't wait. Call now.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, plenty of news and plenty of views today on the program. Stand by for that. When we come back at the top of the hour, we're going to speak to Mira Alecki, who is the founder and president for Canines for Connecticut Vets. We'll talk to her. And if you would like to donate, help us reach the $25,000 goal by going to WTIC.com/vets. That's WTIC.com/vets to help us get a dog and a vet together, service dog and a veteran together this year. We'll talk to Mira when she calls in and talk to her about her the founding of this organization, what it's been able to do, and all that good stuff when she joins us in the next hour. Also coming up, I got to talk about this bill signing today. with Governor Lamont. And what I noticed in all of this that should shock you, and I know that CTN covered it, and I know that people don't go to the what do you call it, like the CTN politics television network website. I get it. It's boring. Unless, of course, yours truly is there asking the questions. All right, you know it. But I was there, and I asked the questions. For some odd reason, they could not understand what my question was. And the Secretary of State, Stephanie Thompson, she booked on me. She ran away. I said, hey, do you have a moment for a question? She looked at me. She said, absolutely not. And I asked one of her people whether or not she, do you know me? We know who you are. Like, that's funny, I try to reach out to you folks, and you always say, send us an email. Send us an email. For what? Why would I send you an email? I send one email, and you get one. We send an email. We send a nice letter. Hi, how you doing? How's the kids? How's everyone? You have a good Christmas? How's the weekend? We'd love to have you on the show to talk about plenty of the things that are your initiative and what's going on in the state. Let's talk about voter rolls. We'd love it if you could come on by. We never hear anything. We're done with the emails. We don't want to do that. Now we show up. Hey, why don't you come on the show? Now, why would I bother? Okay, not a problem. Don't want to come to the show, we come to you. But Matt Blumenthal, son of Richard Blumenthal, who I'm getting a lot of text messages over here from some people that are like, that guy is I get it. You don't like him. Okay. That's no reason not to have him on the program. That's why we have him on the program. We have on the people you don't like too. Because they're willing to come on and have a conversation with us. And if I may say so, I haven't taped an interview with him, which I will be editing today, and I'll play it tomorrow. And when I say editing, I don't mean like changing up his words or anything. I mean the entirety. We'll make it available tomorrow. But he said something that I think you'd appreciate. He says, I want to talk to Republicans because they're far more interesting to talk to than those on the left. His exact words. So he wants to come on the show, and it was his idea. I didn't even have to ask him. He said, hey, you should have me on your show. I said, give me a card. He goes, here. So I know, again, you don't like him, but show him his respect. He's going to come into the Lions Den. He's going to get some, adversarial questions, and he's willing to answer them. I think he's excited to do that. So I'm not saying cut him some slack, because cut me some slack, will you? I want the people to come in. Let's take a break. And we'll be back. More news, more views. Let's get some traffic in you. And Mark Christopher's here to do it. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you are traveling into Hartford right now and you're on the westbound side of 84, you're going to see some slow traffic now as you move up on 56 Governor Street, and it's pretty much tight right out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. Then we have another delay out in Farmington. We have an accident westbound 84 between 37 and 36. Right lane is out there. Delays back to exit 38 behind that. Eastbound side of 84 slows about a half mile before 46th Avenue. Into the tunnel. 91 southbound delays 34 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. A little slow again from 19 down to 17 in Meriden. 9 northbound slows 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. And then in Waterbury, you're going to see delays 84 eastbound by 18. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slowing in Waterbury, 22 up to the Mixmaster. 95 southbound is shut down at exit 60 in Madison. We had an accident between 60 and 59 involving a motorcycle. Delays are back to exit 63 in Clinton behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Following a very hot day, we've got a mostly cloudy sky, warm with a low temperature of 70 overnight. Another day of oppressive heat and some humidity with a high of 95 tomorrow. Thunderstorms late in the day can bring some downpours and localized damaging winds. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, cooler down to 57. Periods of sun Thursday, the high 68. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high 69. And a few showers possible, cloudy and cooler Saturday with a high of 62. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says a murder charge would have been justified against former Hartford police officer Joe Magnano, but he appreciates the first-degree manslaughter charge issued by the state inspector general as a first step toward justice for Stevie Jones. The 55-year-old was carrying a knife when he was shot by Magnano back in February during a mental health call. Crump disputes a claim by the Hartford Police Union that says Jones was an imminent threat, justifying deadly force by police. He says 3 other officers on the scene were de-escalating said scene.
So either he was wrong for shooting or they were wrong for not shooting. It is that simple. And we believe that there was nothing justifiable for him to use unjustified excessive force.
Magnano now free on $50,000 bond, and he's got a court date next month. Governor Lamont signed a bill today allowing all registered voters to have the option to cast an absentee ballot. Secretary of the State Stephanie Thomas.
Every eligible voter in Connecticut may now apply for an absentee ballot without having to fit their life into one of the prior eligibility categories. In 2024, more than 843,000 voters approved the constitutional amendment allowing the General Assembly to authorize universal absentee voting.
Opponents have argued such a law opens the system up to potential fraud. Anyone wishing to vote absentee can either pick up an application at their town clerk's office or do so online through the Secretary of the State's website. Depending on who you ask, one could say the Connecticut State Colleges and University system is in turmoil. Monday came word that Board of Regents Chair Marty Guay was stepping down. This on the heels of the departure of interim Chancellor John Maduco following sexual harassment allegations lodged at him. Maduco had taken over for Terrence Chang, who himself left last year for extravagant spending. Governor Lamont says he remains confident despite the controversies.
Look, we're going to get the right team in place. The good news is, look, we have more people going to our community college system. It's the elevator of opportunity, more people graduating, debt-free community college. We're making progress there. I got to get the leadership right.
Lamont says he could tap a new Regents chair by the end of the week. Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche fielded questions from a Senate subcommittee today about that $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund he created for those who felt targeted by the Biden administration. Blanche says the Justice Department set up a similar fund under the Obama administration.
Something almost identical in structure to what we announced yesterday. In that case, there were allegations made by Native Americans that the Department of Agriculture had systematically treated them unfairly.
Hartford police continue their investigation into a fatal Monday night shooting. They say 37-year-old Dante Barnes of East Hartford was found in the area of 86 Cabot Street unresponsive with at least one gunshot wound. Later died at an area hospital. So far, police have not announced any arrests or a motive for that shooting. President Trump is endorsing Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton over incumbent Senator John Cornyn in next week's Republican runoff election. Vice President Vance commented,
I've known John Cornyn for a long time, but unfortunately, when it really counted, Ken Paxton was there for the country, was there for the president, and that's why he ultimately earned the president's endorsement.
It is primary day in 6 states today, including Kentucky. Republican Congressman Thomas Massey is being primaried. He's incurred the wrath of Trump in the past, particularly over the Jeffrey Epstein case. Checking Wall Street, the Dow down 308 points, NASDAQ down 220, S&P down 49. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 35 years, I've seen it all. Car crashes, work injuries, defective products, medical mistakes, lives flipped upside down in an instant. But I've also seen something else, the power of fighting back, the power of winning. Over $30 billion recovered and counting. Size matters, reputation matters, results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Nicholas Russo, 157 Church Street, New Haven, 06510.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-948-7878. That's 800-948-7878.
Reese is on the radio. Hey, hey. Here we go now. He's on the radio. Hey, hey. One time, hey. He's on the radio. Hey, hey. Give it to him now. He's on the radio. Hey, hey. Yo, we never finish 'cause the party don't stop. Hey. The way we consider the politics, we on top. Hey. We flip it like sandals, except we never flop. Hey. And when we drop, you know we gon' pop. Hey. Reese is on the radio. Hey. Here we go now. Reese is on the radio. Hey. One time, come on. Reese is on the radio. Hey. Give it to him now. Reese is on the radio. Go.
All right, second half of Reese on the Radio begins now. When we return, we are going to be speaking to the president and founder of Canines for Connecticut Vets, Mira Alicki, on the phone. She'll be calling in. We'll talk to her about her organization, how it started, how it's going, and who we're going to be pairing up this time around. Yesterday we spoke to, what was his name? Why am I forgetting his name now? Prosser. That's right, Mr. Prosser. We spoke to him yesterday, and he was our 2024 recipient of a Canine for Connecticut Vet. And so we'll talk to her about all of that and how they choose and pick all those folks. Let me see if I can do this real quick. And I want to thank City Hall, Adam, for sending this to me. I didn't realize that there's a such thing called power phrasing. Have you ever heard of that, Roland? Power phrase? No, according to the definition, power phrasing is simply using strong, clear, and direct words to make your point land with more impact and to get better results. It's the opposite of weak, vague, or wishy-washy language. So in speaking to the Secretary of State today, I got this.
And to my actual question as to how we are going to find out what sort of guidelines or guardrails that would be to prevent people from putting in fraudulent absentee ballots.
So once the procedures are written, they are available to the public like any other document. The election workers get them first to provide feedback to make sure all the procedures that we put out would work, whether it's a large town like...
Oh, you know what? I don't have enough time. We got to get to traffic and weather. I thought we had enough time. She talks a lot. Let's get to weather and traffic with Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. If you're heading westbound 84 into Hartford, delays just after 56 Governor Street out to 46th Avenue. And then you'll see some more slow traffic as you move between exit 41 and 39A. And another bump as you move between exit 38 and 37. We had an accident in the right lane between 37 and 36. That is clear. Just a little bit of activity on the right shoulder now. Use caution. Eastbound 84 slows about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the downtown tunnel. 91 southbound, you're slowing from 35 in Windsor down to 32A and B. In Hartford, again, delays 27 down to 28. Another minor slowdown, 19 to 18 in Meriden. If you're 9 northbound, you've got delays 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge. Again, some slow traffic moving up by exit 34 in New Britain. Traveling into Waterbury on the westbound side of 84, you got some slow traffic, 22 up to the Mixmaster. Now, 95 southbound In Madison, shut down at exit 60. We had an accident between 60 and 59 on the Madison-Guilford line involving a motorcycle. So right now, highway shut down at 60. Delays are back to 63 in Clinton behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sponsored by Petro Home Services.
To stay cool and save this summer, you need the best AC system tune-up and repair services. Go with your local HVAC pros. Go with Petro. For special offers, go to petro.com or call 844-482-2496 today.
WTIC weather.
We are tracking a couple of showers and thunderstorms, one just north of Windsor that'll be moving east away from Hartford, but a couple to the west, Torrington and also Bethlehem seeing a thunderstorm. These will move into the Hartford area between 4:30 and 5 and exit this evening. They can bring some damaging wind gusts. When they move through, they'll move through pretty fast, so it'll rain and the wind will pick up for about 10 minutes and then the storm will be gone. Mostly cloudy tonight, the low temperature 70. We will have the temperature approach the record of 99 tomorrow, so another hot day with a high of 95. Thunderstorms in the afternoon can bring downpours and wind gusts once again. Partly cloudy, much cooler tomorrow night, down to 57, the high 68 on Thursday with a mix of sun and clouds. Mostly cloudy Friday, the high 69. Couple of showers possible Saturday, the high 62. Rain and drizzle Sunday, the high 63. Right now, 89 in Cheshire, 93 in Bristol, 90 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
ProHealth Physicians has proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and most major insurances. For trusted local care for your whole family, call 1-855-CT-MD-411 or visit ProHealthMD.com.
Have bad teeth that need to be replaced? Don't like removable dentures? Worry no more. Come on down to Columbia Implant Center in Manchester any day of the week and ask for the all-on-4 procedure. Call us at 860-643-1898.
You've probably heard all those ads for life insurance. Just a few dollars a day, apply online in minutes, no medical exam. Simple, easy, and cheap, right? Now you're thinking, maybe I should get a quote. Well, smart thinking. Everyone should have life insurance. But here's what they don't tell you. Those few dollars a day rates, they're for young people in perfect health. That's why everyone calls Big Lou the 50 to 60-year-old not-so-perfect candidate. Like you. You take prescription meds and you're overweight. Winner, winner, fried chicken dinner. Well, Big Lou works with life insurance companies that want people like you with no surprises after you apply. In fact, if you're a 50-year-old guy with a few health glitches, Lou could probably find you $1 million of term life coverage for about $200 a month. So yeah, you need life insurance. But unless you're young and healthy, you gotta call Big Lou because he's like you, older, heavier, and on meds too. Get a quote right now at 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Making sense of it all and having fun. That's how we would sum up our show, Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. It's what happens when you take a Gen Xer, a millennial, and a baby boomer and give them a radio show.
We go through the news the same way you and your friends would, taking the serious stuff seriously while also laughing at the absurd.
Each one of us brings a unique perspective to the news of the day, closing the generation gap in a way no other talk show can. Hear Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins weeknights 6 until 9 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. Odyssey has news that hits home in your local area and around the country. Get local news, traffic, and weather from stations near you. Get national news from CNN, Fox News Radio, and more. And explore the biggest news podcasts like The Daily Punch, Pod Save America, and The Daily, AUDACY. Find all the news that matters to you in a universe of audio. Odyssey.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, back to the show. That sounds really loud in my ears. As promised, on the phone with us is Mira Alicki, who is the president and founder of Canines for Connecticut Vets. She's on the line. Hello, Mira. How are you? Am I saying your name right, Mira?
Yes. It's Mira.
Mira,
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, I know I've never spoken to you before because I would definitely remember that accent.
Well, there's always the first time. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Mira, what part of the world are you originally from?
Poland.
From Poland. Okay, wow, should have recognized that. So you are the president and founder of Canines for Connecticut Vets. And of course, if you want to donate, we're trying to reach $25,000. Help us out. Go to WTIC.com/vets. Again, WTIC.com/vets. What was the impetus of this organization, this charity helping out vets? Where this was something personal to you, or how did the idea come to you?
So it was really personal. I am always throughout my life, I was a huge animal lover and try to help out different rescue organizations throughout my life. And, at some point we organized, me and my friends that helped me started this organization, organized a gala, and we donated like $30,000 to various animal rescue groups. After that event, we decided maybe we'll start our own nonprofit. We didn't really want to just do rescues. We wanted to, do more than that. And we found a great trainer to partner up with us. And I feel like veterans is the, group of people that they give so much for all of us, and they really don't get the benefits that they deserve. So we start training dogs for veterans with PTSD. That's how the organization started. And then, over the years, we expanded to train, for children with autism and mobility disabilities. And then we also train for some hospitals and police departments, dogs. But veterans is always the group of people that I think it's the closest to all of my board members' hearts, and I think that the dogs do the biggest impact on veterans with PTSD. They truly, not only change their lives, but many of our clients, they save their lives.
There's a lot of psychology into what you're talking about, relationships with just human beings as it pertains to pets. Many studies have suggested owning a pet actually releases endorphins in the body. Also, it also helps, I think, in sort of longer lifespans because of having a pet in the home. Is there any psychological thing that your organization has done that sort of led to this, bringing these pets to people with PTSD and children with autism? What was that like? And did you have to go through that kind of research to get where you are?
Oh, we obviously went through research. We also have as our board members, therapists, nurses, people that work with veterans for 20-something years. So, we kind of recruited the right people to be able to help them just beyond training the service dog and placing the dog with them. But, the reality is that dog is the only thing that provides veterans with assistance beyond therapy and medications. Like there's no medical tool or no medication that can prevent nightmares in veterans. And, the dogs we train for them, they have a sixth sense. They sense the nightmare coming on before the veteran ever experiences that. And they wake them up prior to the nightmare starting. So, and for veterans with PTSD, those nightmares sometimes are so severe that, these people are suicidal because of it, and some of them, they cannot exist the next day because they are so real to them. And to have a dog that wakes you up, before the nightmare starts, all of them says like, well, I'd rather wake up in the middle of the night than go through the nightmare. So, the type of help and assistance that those dogs provide to them, there is really nothing out there that the medical community can offer them.
We're on the phone with Mira Alicki, who is the president and founder of Canine for Connecticut Vets. And we need your help as we do every year. That's why we partnered with them. Please go to WTIC.com/vet. Again, WTIC.com/vet so that you can contribute. Mira, the thing about this that you just talked about that I find fascinating, and I don't know if you know much about this, but you can actually train a service dog to recognize a night terror before? I mean, is it just like any other training, or is there a really special talent you have to train a dog to do that?
So, dogs are like people. Some have skills than others dogs don't.
Right.
Not every dog is fit to sniff drugs. Not every dog is fit to be with veterans with PTSD. That's why we expanded the foundation, and we kind of, over the 2 years training, we observe the dogs and see what will be the best fit. Some of them will love children and go to a family with autistic children, and some of them are great for veterans with PTSD. So no, not every dog is fit for the job. And truly, it's not just the training, but it's also bonding with that veteran and, and kind of sensing his emotions. And we will see during training the level of bond and the dog sensing the emotions of the veteran, starting with the anxiety. I mean, if the veteran is starting to have anxiety, we see the dog reacting to it. And that's a great sign for this dog to be fit for someone with PTSD, because it's not just the nightmares, it's also providing the veteran extra comfort and protection in public.
Right. Yeah, we talked to I think it was Justin yesterday, the 2024 recipient, and he talked about that, how even his wife had noticed he was doing things that he hadn't done in 15 years. After receiving a service dog, he hadn't gone to a concert in 15 years, and his wife had brought up a concert coming into town, and he was enthusiastic to go because of his relationship with this canine.
Exactly. And, and the dog not only they feel safe with the dog, but then the dog distracts them with analyzing all the crowds and stuff, and they focus on the dog versus on what's going on, around them that normally will cause a huge anxiety, and they have to leave.
It's an incredible thing that you provide. I wish you could do more. I know you do it every year for one lucky vet, who gets the opportunity. It is a long process, and it is an expensive one. That's why you ask for people to give charitably. Again, if you can, folks, please go to WTIC.com. We are proud sponsors and proud partners with Canines for Connecticut Vets. Go to, again, WTIC.com/vet, WTIC.com/vet. By the way, the dog this year is Tucker. Is that correct?
Yes.
It is Tucker. We do have a veteran in mind, or does that come later, or how does it work out?
Okay, so, we don't place any dog with a veteran till they are about 18 months old. And for the reason that we talked before, because sometimes this dog may not be fit for a veteran with PTSD. I mean, we train the dogs, and we kind of predict, looking at their personalities and see what would be the best fit. But we don't want, especially with veterans with PTSD, we don't want to promise anyone a particular dog,
right? Because
maybe the dog will not be a great bond with this particular person,
right? The training process has so many layers, from the veteran coming to visit the dog, and then if that then works out, then the dog has visitation with the vet. So it's not a one-size-fits-all process. There's really there's so many things that dictate whether or not Tucker is going to end up with a particular veteran, and that's not decided until weeks into the process.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like arranged marriage, Sometimes you got to show the chemistry,
This is a little different than that. Well, arranged marriage, because when it's arranged, you're stuck with the person you get. This one's a little...
Okay, with ability of a great match, something you have to kind of...
I didn't think of it that way, but I'm glad you brought it up. That's right. There at least there's a little longer of a process to go through.
And it's like, dogs have chemistry with people, and some people they will have great chemistry with, and some they don't. And, nothing wrong with the person or the dog. They just kind of, you just have to feel the fit. And, and dogs don't lie, so it's easy to observe if someone is bonding with a particular person or not. So we as an organization want to make sure that every placement we make is the right person, because it's not a pet. Is a dog that's supposed to be utilized as a medical tool, and
right.
needs to be a perfect fit, okay? So if we have to maybe change a dog and place a different dog, we will gladly do it as long as is the right fit for the right person and the dog provides the services that the person needs.
Let me, Mira, let me start what can only be described as an animal war in all of this. I know that your company is called Canines for Connecticut Vets. Is it difficult, only because I'm asking, I know you deal with canines, but I do have to ask, this came to my mind, so I'm curious and I'd like to know. Do they have service cats? I know some people have service, pigs, like weird stuff, like they go off the deep end. But can a cat, what if a person isn't a dog person and wants a cat? Not that you do that, but let's say some people are more comfortable with cats. Can cats be trained to do this just as well? Because I know there's some cat people out there who just want to know.
Okay, so I think cats could be possibly trained as an emotional support, but not as a service animal.
Right,
Service animal needs to perform a specific task that helps this individual with disability, and it needs to help their disability. And the dog needs to be able to perform the task any time of the day and night when the disabled person needs it. I don't think there's any other animal that could be trained to do that besides dogs. And I don't think, don't quote me on that because I may be wrong, but I don't think that any other animal really has like the sixth sense, like in case of the dogs and, the veterans with nightmares that can sense them, wake them up prior to the nightmare, coming out.
No, totally understand. I think that I like cats just as much as I like dogs, maybe dogs a little more, but I like them just the same. I think that cats are a little too independent and self-centered to be in this service. So I just wanted to know. It was just my curiosity. It just peaked at the moment because it's so fascinating.
I think any animal could be an emotional support animal.
Indeed. No, I just find it fascinating what you folks have done and what you continue to do just for at least the veterans, for that matter. And me talking to Justin yesterday, it was so remarkable to see that, this support system that you guys have sort of made available to him by partnering him with the service dog changed his life. And that's why it's so important for people to come out and donate and to help you folks do this every year, because what you're doing is so important and you're saving lives, whether people want to believe it or not. What veterans go through with PTSD is traumatizing, and it could end their lives. So it's important for us to help as much as we can. So I appreciate you doing this.
If anybody listening is a disabled veteran or knows of a disabled veteran that can, use a service dog, please, contact us. They can go to our website, foreverinmyheartfoundation.org. There's application, there is email, phone number they can contact us at. And, we are here to help. And, our organizations go really beyond just placing the service dogs, because we really have people and we are partners with many organizations and many people that can help veterans beyond just, getting a service dog from us.
All right, that's foreverinmyheartfoundation.org. But if you'd like to donate, please go to WTIC.com. Again, WTIC.com/vet. Alicki, Mira Alicki, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Thank you for
Thank you for having me.
You got it. It's our pleasure. And we'll see you at the other end of this when we're celebrating the $25,000, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great one. All right, let's get into another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. If you are heading toward Hartford on the westbound side of 84, you're going to see slow traffic approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Another slowdown now as you move between exit 42 and 40, Corbin's Corner in West Hartford. Eastbound side of 84 slows about a half mile before 46th Avenue into the tunnel. 91 southbound delays 36 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 down to 28. A little slow again down by exit 23 in Rocky Hill. More slow traffic 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. If you are heading on 2 westbound, delays in Glastonbury by exit 4, again 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 291 eastbound slowing on the Bissell Bridge. 9 northbound's tight 22 in Middletown up to the Aragoni Bridge, and again a little slow by 32 in Berlin. If you're traveling westbound 84 into Waterbury, delays there from exit 25 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Waterbury slowing 17 to 18, again 26 down to the 691 interchange, and 95 southbound is shut down that is shut down because of a motorcycle accident which occurred between 60 and 59. Highway shut down at exit 60 in Madison. Delays are back to 63 in Clinton. You'll have to get off onto Mungertown Road and then take Route 1 to the exit 59 on-ramp. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Following a very hot day, we've got a mostly cloudy sky, warm with a low temperature of 70 overnight. Another day of oppressive heat and some humidity with a high of 95 tomorrow. Thunderstorms late in the day can bring some downpours and localized damaging winds. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, cooler down to 57. Periods of sun Thursday, the high 68. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high 69. And a few showers possible, cloudy and cooler Saturday with a high of 62. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. And now, a WTIC News Update.
4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. We have partly sunny skies out there, 92 degrees. Bristol, they dismissed students early today due to this hot weather. Same thing in New Britain. As far as students in Wethersfield are concerned, those at Silas Deane Highway were let out early. They had a chiller unit that failed there. Bradley International set a record 96 degrees today, surpassing the old mark of 94 set in 1962. Governor Lamont held a ceremonial bill signing for legislation that now allows no-excuse absentee ballot voting. The measure was approved on a ballot question by voters back in 2024. They can now fill out a request, provide it to the town clerk, or submit one online to the Secretary of the State's office. Family of Stevie Jones says it hopes former police officer Joe Magnano is convicted of manslaughter in Jones's death back in February. They say the 55-year-old Jones was having a mental health episode when Magnano opened fire. Jones had been brandishing a knife at the time. The police union says it disagrees with an inspector general's report this week, saying the shooting was not justified and that Magnano was following his training, and they'll work to reinstate him to the department after he was fired by the mayor. 2 men are under arrest, charged in taking part in a street takeover last Saturday in Newington. Officers say Jose Velasquez and Alexis Hernandez were also found to be in possession of illegal 9mm pistols. Both face motor vehicle and weapons charges. They're due in court next month. One man is dead following a shooting Monday night in Hartford. Officers say they heard the gunshots coming from the area of 86 Cabot Street. When they arrived, they found 37-year-old Dante Barnes of East Hartford unresponsive. He died later at an area hospital. Russian President Putin has arrived in China for meetings with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. Visit coming less than a week after President Trump wrapped up a trip of his own to Beijing. Putin's 2-day visit likely to be closely watched as Beijing seeks to maintain stable relations with the U.S. while also preserving strong ties with Russia. Markets finished down today. The Dow lost 322 points. NASDAQ gave back 220. S&P was down 49. Red Sox baseball on TIC tonight. Sox and the Royals with the 6:40 pregame. Yanks at the stadium against Toronto. Mets are in D.C. to face the Nationals. Eastern League, the Yard Goats visit New Hampshire. And it's Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA tonight. Knicks hosting Cleveland. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Herbie Fisher. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424. 800-499-1424.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, no stupidest thing today, but when we return, I want to talk to you about my exchange with the Secretary of State today, talking about this new law you heard at the bottom of the hour with John Silva, talking about this absentee ballot law. We were also talking with House Minority Leader Vin Candelora. And everything that's happening with this is absolutely incredible, because I want you folks to consider something. And especially you folks who are always screaming and hollering about how things are never going to change. Think about what Governor Lamont signed into law. And I want you to think about this critically. I said this the first time I brought Linda Sinkowitz from Fight Voter Fraud. First time I brought her here to confirm what I had already been saying. The state is not blue. It just isn't. And the governor is not as popular as the news media have been telling us as early as November of last year. They have been lying to us that he was the most popular ever, fourth popular in the country. They said it was nothing, no argument. He's a shoo-in. He's going to win a third term, they told us. I talked to you about the money that he spent in the first two elections. You guys told me to pound sand. I didn't know what I was talking about. Really? Guy goes from $18 million spent to $26 million spent in a blue state he's supposed to cakewalk and nobody knows it. Oh, are we supposed to adjust for inflation in 4 years? That's what we're talking about. I'm not a dummy. I'm not. I know you're not. But you seem to be ignoring a lot of factors here. Maybe I'm bringing them up for the first time and you're going, oh, I didn't think about that. That's okay. That's cool. That's cool. But I want to throw something out there, okay? I want to throw another factor out there that you guys seem to be missing here. I think it should be paid attention to. And it has everything to do with this law being passed. Plus, we'll figure out what the hell Stephanie Thomas is talking about in my exchange with her when we return. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Are we not ready for him yet? Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay. Hey, Mark, how you been, buddy?
I'm doing great, Reese. I hope you are, too. And this traffic report being brought to you by Whittlesey. If you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound, look for a little slow traffic as you move down between exit 37 and 36. Again, delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and another bump, 27 down to 28. Slowing again by 23 West Street and Rocky Hill. And you'll see some more slow traffic approaching 19 to 17 down in Meriden. Now, if you're traveling westbound, 84 delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 46 Sisson Avenue. 84 westbound, a little tight again as you move up on exit 4. 40 Corbin's Corner in West Hartford, and you'll see another bump as you move between 33 in Plainville and 32 in Southington. Now, if you're traveling 2 westbound, delays by exit 4 in Glastonbury. Again, 1D up to the 84 West merge. 2 eastbound slowing by exit 3 in East Hartford. 291 eastbound's tight off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge. 9 northbound delays 22 to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 southbound delays Cromwell Middletown line to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound, you've got delays 17 to 18 in Waterbury. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slows 23 to the Mixmaster. 95 southbound is still shut down, and that's in Madison. We had an accident between 60 and 59 involving a motorcycle. So the highway shut down at 60. You'll have to get off on Mungertown Road, take Route 1 south, get back on the 59 on-ramp. Traffic and weather. Oh, let me read this. Whittlesey wants your business to succeed. Whittlesey is more than an accounting firm. They're advocates for your business, delivering a robust set of solutions, including audit, tax, technology, cybersecurity, and advisory services. Learn more atwadvising.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, for the afternoon commute across the Hartford area, we are definitely going to see a couple of showers and thunderstorms. They are making their way from near Canton and Bristol, pushing east, and the timing for those will be anywhere between about 4:45, 4:50 p.m. and 6 o'clock this evening. When they move through, they'll be pretty fast in nature, but they could produce some localized damaging wind gusts and perhaps even some small hail. Besides the fact that it's very warm outside, and that will continue tonight and tomorrow, rather muggy with a low temperature tonight of 70. We will have thunderstorms again tomorrow afternoon, the high temperature 95 degrees. And then a cooler trend with some rain at times. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy down to 57. Cooler, less humid with periods of sunshine on Thursday, the high 68. Mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high 69. A couple of showers possible on Saturday to kick off the Memorial Day weekend, the high 62. Rain and drizzle on Sunday, the high 63. Right now, 92 in Plainville, 91 in Willimantic, and 90 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and at newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
When a contractor needed to quickly lock down valuable equipment on site, they called the leader in mobile storage, Eagle Leasing. We delivered a clean, watertight storage container exactly where they needed it. Call 1-800-GET-EAGLE or go to eagleleasing.com. You see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
When a contractor needed convenient office space on their job site, they called the leader in mobile offices, Eagle Leasing. The next day, we delivered a clean, high-quality office trailer and put it exactly where they needed it. Call 1-800-GET-EAGLE or go to eagleleasing.com. You see us everywhere. We're Eagle Leasing.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, back. Reese on the radio right here, WTIC, News Talk 1080. Governor Lamont signs this new bill, right? Passed. It's a constitutional amendment. Everybody, anyone, no matter who you are, mail-in ballots. All that with, of course, Wanda Pataki sitting right there, still facing charges. The will, what they call these people sometimes. Anyway, so I had an exchange with the Secretary of State, and she uses the term, and I'm setting this up to play tomorrow, if not just to, put it on my Facebook page to just play it and you guys respond to it. But I didn't even hear the term that she used because I'm just there. And I'm like, she just stopped talking. She said, I'm not going to answer any more questions. But City Hall Adam sends this message to me. And here is the definition. He goes, the state's top election enforcement official accused you of power phrasing. He said, I had to Google that. Congrats. So I'm like, what? Yeah, I didn't even hear her say that. I thought she said something about my phrasing, but then discontinued the interview. I wasn't even coming for her. I wanted Governor Lamont to respond. More on that in a minute. But then he Googled it and he sent this to me. If you've never heard the term, you are as educated as I am on this. Let's get educated together. Power phrasing is a communication strategy of using highly intentional, confident, and action-oriented language to guide conversations, convey authority, and to drive specific results. It replaces vague, hesitant, or apologetic words with clear, persuasive statements that leave a memorable, positive impact. I didn't choose the word. Our Secretary of State used those words. So I'm reading it and I'm going, wait a minute, she couldn't have accused me of doing something good, but she did. So City Hall Adams sent me the link where it was, and it begins exactly as my exchange goes. Now, what I'm asking, what I'm trying to understand by the Secretary of State, what I really wanted was the governor, was to explain to me, with these absentee ballots going out to the individual, what are the checks and balances when the state receives them or the municipality receives them to make sure that there are not fraudulent absentee ballots? What are those things in place? To which they could not tell me what they were. Apparently, that had not been cleared up yet, or there's some sort of guidelines. There's a whole bunch of other stuff talking about they would never know if they were caught doing this. I don't know. There's a bunch of legalese going on. But there were no, and I got the impression that they were saying that the bill comes before the after action, like how to guide anyone who may have sent a fraudulent ballot back. And I was trying to get some clarity. It went like this.
And to my actual question as to how we are going to find out what sort of guidelines or guardrails there would be to prevent people from putting in fraudulent absentee ballots.
So once the procedures are written, they are available to the public like any other document.
So you hear that, right? Once the procedures are written. My original question was, are there already those things in place? And they kept saying, we're not saying that. We're not saying that. We're not saying that. We're like, no, you keep saying that as soon as we put them in place. So they're not in place. That's what I wanted to know.
The election workers get them first to provide feedback to make sure all the procedures that we put out would work, whether it's a large town like Stamford or a small town like Union, and then we usually fine tune it, and then the public has access to that, and they can also always speak to their town clerk or registrar of voters if they have any concerns.
So just on the record, you're saying that that has not been worked out exactly what the what hasn't been worked out is how you would be able to sort of curtail any fraud. Those details haven't been carved out yet.
No, that's not what
I'm asking. That's
it
what I'm
sounds like you're paraphrasing, so I'm going to take the next question.
What did you hear my question? Roland, please, get on the mic just so... I know that I'm trying to use plain English. I hope that I did. Did you get the impression that I was asking something like nefarious? Was I trying to be underhanded in any way? What was I doing there? Did you get that impression? No, okay, I think he's dealing with something else. I can't really see. It's so dark in here. I can't wait until you're in the studio with me. We got a glass between us and it reflects and I can't see him. Again, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on here. Now, I'm going to post this on my Facebook page. Folks, the man who signed the law is standing there. He never once addresses the question. He signed it into law. He left it to his Secretary of State and everyone else to respond. He said nothing. And I'm asking the question, Governor, why would you not speak up? It is your law, right? You had a lot to say about this, about how you wanted people to have access to vote. Here I am asking you a question, or asking all of you on the dais a question about how are we going to prevent fraud, and you had nothing to say. You left this to everyone else. You stood by like a bystander, like you were a member of the ACLU or one of these other groups there, and you let the Secretary of State have to answer it, and then she backed out, and you didn't even come to her rescue, or at least come in to answer the question. To which I have to ask, are you a walking and talking? I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to figure it out. Is it, are you just an auto sign? Like, are you just there to sign the document and not know what it's about? Like, do you have no idea what legislation you're signing, what laws, what bills you're signing into law? Do you have no understanding of what's going on? I'm looking at this, and he is looking at his Secretary of State like she's the governor. Are you Governor Autopen? That's the only thing I could think of. I feel like this guy is like governing at the behest of everybody else in government. This makes no sense to me. Autopen Ned. That's exactly right. We don't need no stinking procedures, Al says. It's absolutely true. He didn't defend a thing. He sat there and left every one of his cohorts to answer the question. And I know they knew what I meant. I know they knew what I was asking. They're saying the thing that, and then the thing was, there are procedures, she says. There are procedures that we're going to carve out, which I'm not understanding. I don't get it.
Office is now writing their procedures.
They're writing their procedures. That means there are none in place.
Policy operates at a very high level. What is allowable, what isn't allowable, but the procedures say, like, which staff person is allowed to do which job and what type of envelope, etc. So we are working on the procedures.
So they're working on the procedures, which means that those haven't been laid out yet.
And to my actual question as to how we are going to find out what sort of guidelines or guardrails there would be to prevent people from putting in fraudulent absentee ballots.
So once the procedures are written...
Once the procedures are written, there are none. Do you get what I'm saying here? I had to ask 3 or 4 people, am I articulating poorly? What am I missing? I know that I'm sort of trying to get it out, but I'm trying to... And I'm making sure that I don't want to confuse anybody here.
They are available to the public like any other document.
So we don't have it, and that's all I'm asking. Do you have them now? And the answer is no. Say no. And she wouldn't say no. I'm saying, so you're saying they're not there? No, that's not what I'm saying. Why won't you say no? It is what you're saying. You're the person doing double speak. With all due respect, Madam Secretary, you're double speaking. I said, are there procedures in place? No, once they're written. So you're saying they're not written. No, that's not what I'm saying. What then?
The election workers get them first to provide feedback to make sure all the procedures that we put out would work, whether it's a large town like Stamford or a small town like Union.
We haven't figured any of this out yet, folks. That's all we're saying. We're passing the law before we find out what's in it. You get it? Like this is literally Mickey Mouse Club stuff. That's why this woman didn't want to answer a question once they got off the dais. When I would let me ask you one question. No, I got to go. No wonder you're running. Because you knew exactly what I was saying. You knew exactly the point I was making. And it's on tape. I said it over and over again. Do you have procedures? Do you have measures? Do you have guardrails? Well, when the decision's already known. So you're saying they're not there? No, that's not what I'm saying. Mickey Mouse. These people are inept. And the fact that she's standing there defending it or trying to explain it while the governor, the guy who has just signed the legislation, just signed it into law, nothing. He sat in the background like a feeble old man. He can't even defend it.
And then we usually fine tune it, and then the public has access to that. And
You'll get to it when we're done. Okay? You'll get to it when we're done. We're not done with that yet. All we know is that we're happy that we passed the law. Yay! The law's been passed. And then they'll put every one of the provisions in there, and they won't say a word. There won't be any press conferences. There won't be any conversation about it. It's up to you to go figure it out. Here's what the procedures are. Oh, well, you didn't go look them up. The procedures are right there. We came up with them. Why didn't you hold a press conference for it? Well, we didn't see any need for it. Why would we hold a press conference about that? Because people want to know whether or not these votes are going to be fraudulent. Now, if you care, you look it up yourself. So the pomp and circumstance about all of this, and then someone asking them a legitimate question. And again, this is my thing, folks. You don't hear me being disrespectful here. You actually hear curiosity. I need to know this. They don't have any answers. And so instead of answering, she just says, I'm going to take the next question.
they can also always speak to their town clerk or registrar of voters if they have any concerns.
So just on the record, you're saying that has not been worked out exactly what the... What hasn't been worked out is how you would be able to sort of curtail any fraud. Those details haven't been carved out yet.
No, that's not what it
I'm
said.
asking. That's
It
what I'm asking.
sounds like you're paraphrasing, so I'm going to take the next question.
It sounds like you can't answer the question, Madam Secretary. It sounds like you're confused about plain English. It sounds like you don't care about fraud. But then again, isn't that what this whole law was designed to do? Was to allow you to be a bunch of frauds. That's why you couldn't answer the question. And no one else had any questions. Susan Raff asked one question. She framed it as, Republicans say, Republicans? Average Americans are concerned about fraud, not just Republicans. It's not a partisan issue. Because when the Democrats get cheated, they start screaming bloody murder too. Huh? Yeah. It's not a Republican issue. And I think one other person asked a question, and I didn't know who that gentleman was. Never saw him before. But they have absolutely no interest in curtailing fraud. And they are fighting tooth and nail to stop the SAVE Act. But you know what? Like I said, like myself and Minority Leader said, this is going to come back to bite them. And I can't wait. I'm hoping that it bites them in the behind. Goodness gracious, I hope there's so much infighting by August that, when the smoke clears, they are at each other's throats. Can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. So much fun. He's got to win an election. He still has an election to win in. Josh Elliott, forget all that polling data that says he only has what I think his numbers were like 15% against Lamont's 54 or something like that. We'll see. We'll see. Nern says, it works in D.C., so why not this clown? Why wouldn't this clown do the same? He likes being the governor, but he doesn't want to govern. Carmela says, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think that's the case. All right, stand by. We'll take your telephone calls on the opposite side of this break. Let's get some more weather and traffic to you. Our good friend Mark Christopher is here. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We return with music news. Mark, we'll see you then.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. Westbound 84 is heavy, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. 84 eastbound slowing 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. 91 southbound delays as you move down by exit 37 down to 35 in Windsor for the 291 interchange. Again, delays Hartford 33 down to 32 A and B, 27 down to 28. A little slow by 23 in Rocky Hill. If you are traveling on the westbound side of Route 2, delays 6 to 4 in Glastonbury, and again 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 291 eastbound slowing off of I-91 over to the Bissell Bridge heading into South Windsor. 9 north and southbound heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound again tight from 31 in Berlin up to 32 in Berlin. 9 southbound's heavy from the 72 interchange down to exit 23 in 33 rather in Berlin. If you're traveling 84 eastbound into Waterbury, delays 17 to 18. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slowing in Waterbury, 25 up to the Mixmaster. Southbound 95 is shut down at 61 in Madison because of an accident between 60 and 59. Delays are back to 63. Route 79 to Route 1 South get back on in the 59 on-ramp. And we have a road closure in Glastonbury. Route 94 is shut down at Addison Road because of a serious accident there. Traffic moves slow, but your transformation shouldn't. Columbia Implant Center provides full dental implants in just one visit. Open 7 days a week in Manchester to fit your busy life. Get your smile back today at ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Following a very hot day, we've got a mostly cloudy sky, warm with a low temperature of 70 overnight. Another day of oppressive heat and some humidity with a high of 95 tomorrow. Thunderstorms late in the day can bring some downpours and localized damaging winds. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, cooler down to 57. Periods of sun Thursday, the high 68. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high 69. And a few showers possible, cloudy and cooler Saturday with a high of 62. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
This is WTIC News Talk 1080 with Brian and Company in the morning, Reese on the radio in the afternoon, and news around the clock. WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
It's 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. 91 degrees. Got a severe thunderstorm warning up for Hartford County. Until 5:45, some storms beginning to roll through the area, the Farmington area, as we speak. Again, severe thunderstorm warning up until 5:45. Crews have been at the scene of a working fire in Bloomfield this afternoon. The call went out around 2:30, a home at 741 Blue Hills Ave. Police say the top floors of the structure were engulfed in flames, and emergency personnel helped people evacuate. Presently, there's one person unaccounted for. Crews are still working to put the fire out. Windsor and Hartford PD are assisting in road impacts. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump says the manslaughter charge against former Hartford police officer Joe Magnano is a first step. An Inspector General's report this week says the officer fired 9 times, fatally shooting 55-year-old Stevie Jones during a mental health call back in February. More from WTIC's Dave Mager.
Crump says one of two things can be true. Officer Magnano was correct in shooting at Stevie Jones, or 3 officers working to de-escalate the scene were correct in not shooting.
You can't have it both ways.
The Hartford Police Union says Jones carrying a knife during a mental health call was an imminent threat to others, and Magnano's use of deadly force was justified. Crump says that's, quote, asinine.
Stevie Jones deserved the benefit of humanity. He needed a helping hand, but what that officer gave him was 9 bullets.
Crump believes a murder charge would have been justified and $50,000 bond was too low. In Hartford, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Former chair of the Board of Regents Marty Guay tendered his resignation on Monday amid several controversies. They include the former interim CSCU chancellor accused of sexual harassment and his predecessor's extravagant spending. And there were reports that Guay himself was accused of firing an employee for reporting sexual harassment. Governor Lamont was asked about others in the system who may have been culpable.
Look, I'm not going to jump to conclusions. That's why we have an independent investigation going on.
I am going to get a new head of the Board of Regents to take the lead on this and make sure there's no stone unturned.
Well, Lamont says he could name a new Board of Regents chair by the end of the week. He did sign a ceremonial, did hold a ceremonial bill signing for legislation now allowing no excuse absentee ballot voting in Connecticut. The measure approved on a ballot question in 2024 by voters who can now fill out a request and provide it to the town clerk or submit it online to the Secretary of the State's office. The effort began under former Secretary of the State Denise Merrill. She said it was a long time coming.
The public voted yes. We want more access to absentee ballots. And so that is why we're here today. I'm not sure I ever thought we'd actually get here, but here we are, and thanks to so many people. I'm looking out and I see this huge coalition that we built over all those years.
Legislation also increases penalties against those found guilty of harassing election workers from a misdemeanor to a felony on the second offense, but those who are opposed say the system could be open to fraud. 6 states are holding primary elections today. In Georgia, voters are picking nominees in the House, Senate, and gubernatorial contests. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger touted efforts to protect election integrity there.
We have strengthened the integrity of our elections by making sure that only American citizens vote in Georgia, becoming the first state in the entire country to actually verify and audit our voter rolls to make sure only American citizens were registered, so only American citizens would be voting in our elections.
Raffensperger on the ballot in Georgia for governor. Vice President Vance held the White House press briefing today. He addressed talks are going on between the U.S. and Iran to end the war, stressing the importance of blunting Tehran's nuclear ambitions.
It would make us all much less safe, and Iran would really be the first domino and what would set off a nuclear arms race all over the world. That's very, very bad for the safety of our country.
Wall Street, the Dow finished down 322 points today. NASDAQ gave back 220, and the S&P was off 49 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Is life insurance still on your list of New Year's resolutions? Now is the perfect time to add it. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, let's do the thing, folks. News. Today in music news, apparently the sexuality confused JoJo Siwa was born in 2003, and she is best known for being on that show Dance Moms or something like that. Anyway, Lainey Wilson, the country singer songwriter, was born in 1992. Also a very weird cross-dressing singer. Sam Smith was born in 1992, also today. Maggie Rose, the famous country singer, turns 37. Shooter Jennings, born in 1979, is a country and rock artist and son of one of my favorite singers, Mr. Waylon Jennings. Pete Townsend, born in 1945, celebrates a birthday today. Songwriter for The Who, turns 81. Grace Jones of I'm Not Perfect, But I'm Perfect for You fame, born in 1948, has a birthday today. And Dusty Hill, who's now passed, but he is the former bassist and singer for the group ZZ Top. In other news, DMX's It's Dark and Hell is Hot was released this day in 1998. Also, Billy Ray Cyrus's Some Gave All album, which included the song Achy Breaky Heart in that debut album. Peter Gabriel's So, also released in 1986 on this day with the big hits In Your Eyes, Big Time, and Sledgehammer. But Linda Carlisle also got her solo track, or her debut solo album, that came out today back in 1986. Mark Christopher's here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Belinda Carlisle. Now, I know that you're a big Go-Go's fan.
I'm a so-so Go-Go fan, yeah.
Really? A so-so
yeah.
Go-Go's fan?
Yeah,
Did you
so-so
ever see their documentary?
No.
Okay, listen to me.
Gotta watch that?
You don't gotta watch it, but you should.
Okay. No, I should watch it. Okay.
It rivals Metallica's first documentary because it is absolutely unadulterated rock star stuff. For a girl band, it goes way beyond.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of the most talked about documentaries that ever came out. It was unfiltered and raw, and for a girl band, you just wouldn't believe it. But Belinda Carlisle and the rest of those gals, off the meat rack, as they used to say back in the day. Yeah, some real tawdry stuff in there.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that then. Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. We had a heavy shower moving along the 84 corridor right now, and that's really starting to slow things down. Let's start off out on the Southington-Plainville line. We have an accident 84 eastbound between 32 and 33. The left lane's blocked there. Delays just about back to 32. Behind that, you get around that, you're going to slow again 37 to 39. Again, delays 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 tied up 56 Governor Street out to 44 Prospect Oakwood. East of the river, 84 eastbound is a little tight as you move up on the 384 interchange. Southbound 91, look for slow traffic from exit 37 to 36. Again, 33 down to 30, pretty much 33 right down to exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. More slow traffic 23 down to 22 in the Route 9 interchange. If you are traveling Route 3 northbound, delays from I-91 over to exit 13B and C in Glastonbury. 2 westbounds tight 6 to 4 in Glastonbury. Again, 1D up to the 84 west merge in East Hartford. If you're traveling into Middletown, 9 northbound delays 22 to the Aragoni. 9 southbound slowing Cromwell, Middletown, Linetown to the Aragoni. 9 northbound's pretty slow, pretty much from I-91 in Cromwell up to exit 34 in New Britain. If you are traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound delays 17 to 18. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 running slow, approaching 26 to the Mixmaster. And 95 southbound continues to be shut down in Madison right now at exit 61 because of an accident between 60 and 59. Delays start at 63 in Clinton. You'll have to take Route 79 to Route 1 South. Get back on the 59 on-ramp in Guilford. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
We are tracking a strong to severe thunderstorm moving across the Hartford area. It has a warning with it. It's producing some wind gusts up to potentially 60 miles an hour and some small hail. It will be completely east of the city no later than 5:30 this afternoon, but that's causing the slow traffic across the region and those brief downpours. After that storm moves through, we will have 1 or 2 more showers a little bit later this afternoon, early this evening, but nothing like the storm moving through right now. And then a cloudy night, the low temperature down to 70. We've got a hot day in store tomorrow with a high of 95. Another round of thunderstorms producing some downpours, some localized damaging winds, and then we have a cooler trend. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy down to 57. Periods of rain on Thursday, the high 68. A mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high 69. A couple of showers, 62 on Saturday. And some rain and drizzle back in here on Sunday, the high 63. We have a dichotomy of temperatures. Right now it's 87 in Meriden, 79 in East Granby where the rain has been falling, 89 in Hartford, but that temperature is crashing quickly as we get these thunderstorms moving through. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
With McValue at participating McDonald's, get our meal deal featuring a McDouble, 4-piece McNuggets, small fries, and a small Coke for $6. Or get a McChicken deal for $5. Price of participation may vary.
ProHealth Physicians has proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and most major insurances. For trusted local care for your whole family, call 1-855-CT-MD-411 or visit ProHealthMD.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-535-1301. 800-535-1301. 800-535-1301.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Now, I don't want to, I don't believe in jinxing. I believe in God. No, I'm not going to do that. He's like, don't say that. All I need you to do today, and there's nothing bad's happening. Nobody's got to need to see it. I just need you to pray for this program. That's all I'm asking you to do. It's a good thing. Pray for this program. Just say, you wish us, good spirits, send us good tidings. That's all I want. We send you good tidings. But we're working on something, so I want good aura. You too, Roland. You good aura. Good aura. Let's go to Thomas. Thomas is on the line. What's going on, big guy?
Hey, I once thought about going to the seminary when I was in the 8th grade, but now I'm not much of a prayer, but I hope all the best.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I think it'll be joyful. I think we're hoping for joy. Joy is what I'm hoping for. But nonetheless.
There you go. Good timer.
So what do you got for me?
Oh, yeah. Peter Gabriel's Soul. That was a great album.
It was.
That was it's got you said it, like, I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it's got 5 good songs.
Yes, it does. And it's funny because that album, I remember when it came out, all anyone could play around me was that song Sledgehammer, which I thought was, it's a popular song. I got it. It was a top 40 hit, and, it played, the music video was, of course, The Draw, because, that's, what was it called? That stop motion animation.
Exactly.
That's what it was. And it was just so unheard of at the time that it was that's what grew its popularity. But I remember one time I was in a long car drive listening to the whole album, and there are a lot of great songs on that. Very, very well produced songs. It made me like Peter Gabriel because I heard the whole album outside of the Sledgehammer record.
Same with me. Sledgehammer's okay.
Yeah.
He played way too much, but yes, when you hear that full album, it's great.
Really good. And it's funny because that was, you want to hear the wild part? This one blows my mind. I remember the day I found out he was the former lead singer of Genesis, and I go, really? I was like, wait a minute, Phil Collins wasn't always and that sort of opened my mind into what he used to do with them early on, which is crazy because Genesis did not become the powerhouse sort of top 40 band until Peter Gabriel left and Phil Collins takes over. But I still think, let me ask you this. Who do you think was a better lead in Genesis? Paul, sorry, why am I forgetting his name now? Peter Gabriel or Phil Collins?
You know, Peter Gabriel probably has a better voice. I did the same thing. I liked Phil Collins in Genesis, but then I went back to listen to old Genesis, and I didn't really like old Genesis. It was too progressive
Yes!
rock.
Yes!
Way too many jams. Oh, their songs went on forever. So I wasn't a huge fan of theirs.
No, that makes sense. You know what? I'll tell you this. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to say this part. What I got from Genesis when I started investigating what their music was like, Peter Gabriel and post-Peter Gabriel, what I liked about Genesis when Phil Collins takes over is that Phil Collins had a natural sort of make fun of himself appeal to the music industry. He really, I think about songs like an illegal alien song. That song is hilarious, and the music video is just as funny. So he really brought like a playfulness to the group.
Yeah, I think if you look at the old songs, they're in weird clothing, and their shoes are like 5 inches high. I think that was all Peter Gabriel.
Yes.
And then when Phil Collins came along, it was more just jeans and shirts.
Yeah, exactly. I think Peter Gabriel was really. I almost feel like he was channeling like Ziggy Stardust or something like that.
Yes. It had that. Yes, old Genesis has that vibe.
Exactly. Yeah, weirdly enough. But I really liked when Phil Collins was with Genesis, and even when he went solo, I'll admit I kind of liked him then too. Okay.
I thought he was really good. It's too bad he's not feeling well. I guess so he doesn't play anymore. Too bad. But hey, Reese, I'll let you go. But first, I don't want to take up all your time.
No, you're good.
For the governor to say, "Oh, just relax." You were patient, kind. You weren't forceful. And after like the third question, he didn't like. He's just relax. That patronizing. I'm better than you, buddy. Just hold
what
your
you
horse.
I don't know if you noticed this, Thomas, but let me do this. So at the moment when I'm grilling him, trying to sort of re-emphasize what he was saying about black folks, black people of color, he's not looking at me, and he puts his hand out to say, just calm down. He doesn't even look me in the eye, which is the dismissiveness in that gesture. I totally got it, that he was waiting to see whether or not I was going to jump at him or I was going to become aggressive. What he failed to realize was that he didn't know I already had the hook I already had the fish on the hook. I already had him. And everything that he does afterwards is just resisting the hook he was already on. That's why there was no reason for me to lose it. And I showed everybody exactly who he was in his reaction.
Yeah, and they're gonna same thing with that woman. The way you're paraphrasing. You don't get mad at them, so they can't call you a right-wing
right-wing zealot or a right-wing. They can't.
Yeah, MAGA, because you're not like that. But they're going to dismiss you. Oh, he's just that radio guy. That's what they're going to pull next week.
I will tell you this. The beauty of it is that walking away from the microphone and then accusing me of doing something that in essence was positive looks poorly on our elected officials. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you have a job to do answering questions. And when you can't answer the question, you run away from the mic. Again, not realizing that as the fisherman, which I am, you're already on the hook. And what you're doing is showing everybody that you can't handle it. So I'm good with it. I don't need to be mad.
It's not your problem that you figured out that they hadn't written the rules yet.
Yep.
So you just asked them on it. All they had to say was, yes, we're in the process. We'll give it to you as soon as it's done.
That's right.
Case closed, but they could. You are beneath them. They couldn't let you get the question out of them. They didn't want to give you the satisfaction.
That's it.
Of a correct answer.
That's exactly right. Thank you, boss man.
Keep it up. Good luck.
You got it, sir. Tom is in Bristol. Thanks for holding, Tom. What do you got for me?
Hey, Reese. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. What's up?
This is Tom and Debbie from the Institute of Connecticut History.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, guys.
Hey, yeah, you remember us. Yeah, so we just wanted to thank you for giving us the time. Our bus trip was a complete success.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we filled it up. We had a great time down in Washington, D.C., and at the National Mall.
Yes. And I saw the big sort of setup that was there on the news. Boy, was that grand. It was like a huge Coliseum-like structure that they put this together in. That had to be amazing.
It was. Yeah. The whole thing is on YouTube if anybody wants to see it. But if anybody wants to just catch the essence of it, you can find Mike Johnson's prayer on YouTube. Just that.
Okay.
And it was so beautiful. It was so poignant, and then it caught the spirit of the whole thing in a very beautiful way.
What?
But all the prayers and all the speakers were really, really great, and there was such a nice spirit there of people that truly love God and truly love America. It was so touching. I cried a couple times because my heart was just touched. I felt the Holy Spirit, and it was just like so amazing how many God-loving people there is in America that came to Washington that day. We waited in line for 2 hours. There was a line like a mile long that we had to be in. But it was worth it. You know what I mean?
I will tell you this, nothing could be greater than having all of those prayerful folks, all of those people who love God and Jesus Christ coming to that cesspool of Washington, D.C. and praying on it.
Right.
And praying for it.
Yeah, right in the side of the Capitol, It was really good. It was so powerful. God has to hear those prayers.
Yes.
With that many people crying out so sincerely, for America to turn from her sins and towards Him, and it was a blessing. Anyway, Reese, you were a part of it because you helped us fill that bus.
Oh, thank you so much.
And so anyway,
we'll talk.
Thank you.
You got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Give me a call. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay. Take care.
God bless. Let me go last and I'm not going to have enough time because I'm going to cut him off before I even get a chance. We'll get to more phone calls on the other side of this, and I'm glad to hear that. I saw that structure the other day of where that was happening, and I thought about Tom and Debbie. I'm glad that it turned out fantastic, and so many people showed up to help that bus ride down there. So, and we'll have them back because Roseanne wants to go on their tour, which is all around Connecticut, to see these places where wars took place here in Connecticut and just the history of this great state. I'm really, after yesterday's monologue talking about why you love this state, and why I fell in love with it, really put a battery on my back to do the thing that, we just had a meeting about this here at Odyssey with all the stations getting together, talking about how we can incorporate the local, just anything, just the businesses, the people, the parks, all of that stuff, and incorporate that into what we do here on the radio. In some places, it's difficult. In some places, you can. I have so many ideas in my head to get out to all of these places and all of these businesses, especially. By the way, please, will somebody go to resonatheradio.com and set up an arrangement where I, either on the weekend, maybe in the morning, I can get down to a factory. Every time I try to do this, I never hear back from anybody. Go to resonatheradio.com if you've got a warehouse or a factory that I can check out. I've never been to one before, so I really want to go. Don't think that I forgot about that. I want to do it. And, just like we went to the recycling facility in Middletown, I want to do that with a lot of businesses around it because it's an opportunity for me to feel it, touch it, see it, and then talk about it here on the air to encourage others to really invest in seeing these places instead of just sitting at home online. There's so much stuff to do here. And guess what? I just realized this. This is crazy. I just saw a report. In fact, I'm going to grab it during the break. Tourism is up in Connecticut. Believe it or not. Lamont's got something to brag about. And it is, strangely enough, pizza related. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher's here. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Pizza. It's actually drawing people in, Mark.
Wow, who would have thunk, huh?
Yeah, right?
Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound side of 84, look out for an accident on the left side, in the left shoulder by exit 58 in East Hartford. 3 vehicle accidents. That's slowing you down there. Again, you're tight 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound locked up from 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulky Bridge. 91 southbound, you got slow traffic 36 to 35. Again, you're going to see slow traffic from 34 down to exit 28 on the Hartford-Weathersfield line. Northbound 91, look for sluggish traffic 24 up to 25, 26 in Weathersfield. If you're 2 westbound delays approaching exit 6 to exit 4 in Glastonbury, and again 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 2 eastbound off of I-84 is heavy from just off of 84 out to exit 3. 3 northbound slowing approaching exit 13B and C in Glastonbury. 9 northbound delays 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 southbound delays Cromwell Middletown line to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound delays from 31 in Berlin up to exit 34 in New Britain. If you are traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound slowing by 18. And again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 is tight up 23 in Waterbury to the Mixmaster. If you are heading 95 south in Madison, that continues to be shut down at exit 61. Accident between 60 and 59 involving a motorcycle. The reason for that closure, you've got to take Route 79 to Route 1 South, get back on the 59 on-ramp in Guilford. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Capital One.
Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts, and Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bankguy. Capital One N.A. Member FDIC.
WTIC weather.
Following a very hot day, a mostly cloudy sky tonight, warm with a low temperature of 70. The high 95 tomorrow, so we will come within 4 degrees of the record for the day. We will also have a couple of thunderstorms producing downpours and localized damaging winds in the afternoon. Partly cloudy, cooler down to 57 tomorrow night. Cooler, less humid with periods of sun on Thursday, the high 68, and a mix of sun and clouds on Friday, the high 69. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Yeah, it's been a record-breaking day in the weather department. Bradley set a record 96, eclipsing the old mark of 94 for this date in 1962. Got that heat advisory up through 8 tomorrow. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning up for Windham, Hartford counties, and Tolland as well. That's running until 6:24. The hot temps changed the schedule for some school districts in the state today. New Britain and Bristol dismissed students early. Same went for the kids at Silas Dean Middle School in Weathersfield. They got a half day due to a failure of a chiller unit there. Governor Lamont held a ceremonial bill signing for legislation that now allows no excuse absentee ballot voting. Measure approved on a ballot question by the voters in 2024. Voters can now fill out a request and provide it to the town clerk or submit it online to the Secretary of the State's office. But some say the new system could open up the chances for voter fraud. Family of Stevie Jones says it hopes former police officer Joseph Magnano is convicted of manslaughter in Jones's death back in February. They say the 55-year-old was having a mental health episode when Magnano arrived and opened fire. Jones was carrying a large knife at the time this all unfolded, and the police union says it disagrees with an inspector general's report this week saying the shooting was not justified and that Magnano was following proper procedure. Investigations continuing into that fatal shooting at a San Diego Islamic center on Monday.
One of the suspect's mothers reported her son missing, prompting a desperate police search.
Several of her weapons
were missing. Her vehicle was missing. She also said that her son was with a companion and that they were dressed in camo.
Police found the vehicle nearby with the two suspects, 17 and 18-year-old males, inside, dead, from what authorities believe were self-inflicted gunshot wounds.
Correspondent Lana Zach. More than 17,000 under evacuation orders as a wildfire continues to threaten suburban homes in Southern California. The Sandy Fire in the hills above Simi Valley, northwest of L.A., had consumed more than 2 square miles of dry brush. Markets finished down today on Wall Street. Dow gave back 322 points. NASDAQ lost 220, and the S&P was down 49. Red Sox baseball on the radio tonight. Sox in KC to face the Royals at 6:40, the pregame. Yanks at the stadium take on Toronto, and the Mets continue their series against the Nationals in D.C. Yard Goats in the Eastern League tonight travel to New Hampshire. And in the NBA, it's Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks host the Cleveland Cavaliers. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-910-2233. That's 800-910-2233. 800-910-2233.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. And you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, it's that time.
Now, what have we learned?
What have we learned?
What have we learned from this little fable?
So what have we learned if nothing else, children?
So what have we learned, huh? So what have we learned from that?
So what have we learned here today? What have we learned so far?
Well, we learned that dogs actually are better companions than cats when it comes to service animals. And we found that out from Mira Alicki, the founder and president of Canines for Connecticut Vets. Make sure you help us out. We're trying to reach $25,000 to get Tucker, the service dog, with a very deserving vet. You have to go to WTIC.com/vet. That is WTIC.com/vet in order to give. We also learned from Samantha and Mihkal, who are the mothers of former Solomon Schechter students. We heard about their ordeal. They will be back, actually. I'm going to get them back in 2 weeks so we can continue their story. There's so much more to get into with them and how they managed to get to the bottom of a teacher who was inappropriately touching their children and get a conviction in this case, although it was ignored wholeheartedly by the news media until he had actually taken a plea deal. So we'll get into that as well. Also, what we learned is that Vin Candelora is very pleased with the outcome of the GOP convention, and he actually likes the show. We learned that today. And we also learned that we have a new name for Governor Ned Lamont. He is Governor Autopen. Apparently, he doesn't take questions on legislation and laws that he signs. He just lets everybody else do the bidding for him. That's a little strange, but I did get some insight on that today, and we'll be talking about it in the future. You stay right there. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Our good friend Mark Christopher's here. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound delays 34 down to 32A and B, and then you're slowing again, 29A right down through exit 28. Another bump as you move between exit 21 and 20 as you move Cromwell into Middletown. On the northbound side of 91, a little tight as you approach 25, 26 in Wethersfield. 2 westbound slowing from 1D up to the 84 West merge. 2 westbound also slowing in Glastonbury from 6 to 4. 2 eastbounds heavy off of I-84 out to exit 3 in East Hartford. If you are heading into Middletown, both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound slowing 31 in Berlin up to 34 in New Britain. Over to Waterbury, 84 eastbound delay 17 to 18. Again, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 is slowing in Waterbury from exit 23 up to the Mixmaster. Now 95 southbound in Madison is still shut down at exit 61. An accident between 60 and 59 on the southbound side of 95 involving a motorcycle. Delays are back to 63 in Clinton. You'll have to get off at 61, take Route 79 to Route 1 South and get back on the exit 59 on-ramp. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sponsored by Petro Home Services.
Go with your local HVAC pros at Petro for an expert AC tune-up to keep it running at peak efficiency all summer. Book your AC tune-up by May 31st for special preseason pricing. Go to petro.com or call 844-482-2496 today.
WTIC weather.
We're tracking a couple of downpours, one near Waterbury that's heading towards New Britain and Rocky Hill, and one just to the south of Hartford heading towards Glastonbury. These will stay mainly to the south of Hartford and exit off towards the east by about 6:30 this afternoon, early this evening. Mostly cloudy tonight, the low temperature down to 70 degrees. Tomorrow will be a bit of a hot day with a high 95 degrees. Could see upper 80s once you get far to the north of Hartford. Now, we will have thunderstorms producing some localized damaging wind gust and downpours in the afternoon. Partly cloudy, cooler tomorrow night, the low temperature 57. Periods of sun, but less humid and cooler on Thursday with a high of 68. 69 on Friday with a mix of sun and clouds. A couple of showers possible on Saturday, the high 62. Some steady rain and some drizzle in here on Sunday, the high 63. Right now, it's 82 in Granby, 81 in Meriden, and 79 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Chad Merrill in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Each week, Attorney Allaire shares expert tips to help you plan for the future and navigate the complexities of elder law.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Northeast Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combination therapies that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and to the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. Northeast Men's Health, advanced medical science to empower male performance.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Now, I got to be honest with you, folks. I hope, and I really do, I hope that you recognize that the reason I'm going to these press conferences to get this audio and these videos to you is to do the thing that you feel has been lacking in media coverage of these events. It is a little bit of something. And I know it's not everything that you would hope for. But I'm trying my best. I'm developing a team, as Sam the man on the street. I'm developing the team with, trying to get Roseanne out there. Roseanne got her feet wet the other day. She feels like she can go out and do it. We are going to try our best to start getting more and more people. I know I can't be in every place, but I feel like I've encouraged people. Mark from West Hartford, Mark Walsh. He has been renewed in the sense of what can get done here. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure you guys knew Mark many years before I got here, and what the temperature was, even with him, that it was just screaming and hollering and nothing changes and nothing changes. And I talk to him all the time, and even he's starting to believe that these incremental changes in what's going on are possible. And these changes could be bigger and better and bolder as long as we keep pushing. I think that in a lot of ways that even Mark felt that he needed those things that he was trying to bring attention to realized by people who wouldn't just dismiss them or dismiss him. They sort of took his anger as something to reject instead of be motivated by. I saw that in him. And I know what that anger is about. That most of it is frustration. So as much as people say, you're friends with that guy Mark from West Hartford? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And it's not for any other reason. The fact that I need his energy from everybody. I need that. I don't need, in fact, I can take Mark from West Hartford and look at his anger and just go, damn, that guy's angry all the time. And then go, well, just calm down. No, he wants to channel it. And he said so much to me, like, I need to channel this into doing something that affects change. So I saw that, and I wish to utilize it. And he and I have done great work together. And I tell him all the time, we're better together than apart. And I really appreciate him because he gives me the stories. I'll never dismiss the stuff that he brings to my attention, no matter how big or how small. They are important, and they're important to you. So I just want you to know that the reason why I'm doing this isn't for ratings, although ratings help. But you guys want results, and you want this medium to have results. You don't want a radio show. Those days are over. Notwithstanding the phone calls. Don't get me wrong, guys, on the phone. I'm going to get to you in a second. It's great to get on the radio and talk about the stuff that's driving you nuts. But at some point, what we do here has to amount to something. And that's what I'm trying to do, to have it count. It isn't just a guy getting on the microphone moaning about stuff. It's about the guy getting out from behind this desk and going to the press conferences, getting them on camera, doing what the Secretary of State did, doing what Lamont did when they're asked the tough questions that they've never been asked before. So they can get exposed to you, and not just you who already know who these people are, but those who support them or those who think that they support them until they see them in raw form, not be able to articulate the message that they have been spewing for the longest of time. Not to be made just uncomfortable for the sake of being uncomfortable, that they don't know what they're talking about. And when held up to scrutiny, they fall apart. That is important. And to see the response that is online, and I don't say this to brag, but this is, I remember somebody saying about my YouTube page, that guy's only got 600 subscribers. I was like, hell yeah, I remember when it was 7. The most that I ever got on social media a week ago, if I was lucky, was 3,000 views, maybe 7,000 views on X. On Facebook, I'd be lucky if I get maybe 2,000 views. I got 10,000 on the DQuat thing, and I was grateful. The video of Ned Lamont is up to 272,000 views on my personal page. On the Reese on the Radio page, it's over, 30, 29, 30, yeah, it's actually a little more than 35,000. So we're looking at over 300,000 people who have viewed this video. Vin Candelora, who was sitting here as a guest, watched that video. The entire Republican representation here in the state has seen my video. And they've shared it over 2,000-3,000 times. It's everywhere. The comments are in the thousands. The reactions are in the thousands. That is not a testament to me. That is a testament to you. That video being watched and viewed as many times as it has, is the battery on my back to go out and do it more. Do you understand? Your reaction to it means that what we're doing is important to you. I know a lot of other people do it and they pat themselves on the back. Look how popular I am. I don't even get on camera half the time. Don't care. You recognize my voice, that's fine. But again, it's not about me. This is about you. And as long as I'm here to serve you, you'll re-elect me. And what do I mean by that? That means that you listen to this show, you watch this show online, and you tell the big bosses here at WTIC to keep me. You know what I mean? It's like you are my votes. You listening to this show, being a part of this show, appreciating what we do. It means that we're doing a good job and you vote for us every day. So we appreciate you spreading the word, even when we don't ask. But we ask nonetheless. Also, speaking of ask, make sure you go to WTIC.com. Again, WTIC.com/vet to help us out at our Canine for Connecticut Vets. Help a vet get Tucker, who is the new dog, new service dog that's going to help a very needy vet in the future. Let me get to the phone real quick. I'm going to take Doc in Harwington real quick. How are you, Doc?
Good. How you doing?
Doc, what do you got?
Well, you're in New York City, man. Have you heard the story of the chain that was put across the... Can you hear?
Doc, I have no idea why, but you might be in a bad spot. Yeah. No, there he is. Okay. No, I got you now. What was your question? What was it about New York?
Well, you're from New York.
Yes, sir.
And you might have heard about the chain that was spread across the Hudson to prevent the Brits from going up the Hudson.
No, I haven't heard about this.
There was a chain that went from New Jersey across the Hudson to New York City.
Oh, the PATH train.
The chain. It was an iron chain.
Oh, I don't know anything about this. What is that about?
Well, back in the Revolutionary War, they actually took a chain and they spread it across the Hudson to prevent the British from going up.
Oh, going up and down the Hudson River.
That was made in Salisbury, Connecticut.
Really?
Yes, which is also the home of Ethan Allen.
That I know. I know that part.
But there's a lot about the history of the Northwest Corridor that if you ever want to spend some time chatting about it, I did a project in high school. We made a film about it.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, Doc, can you go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com and give me a holler? I'd be happy to check it out.
Definitely, because there's a lot of stuff up there that people don't know about.
You know, people say this is a small state. I don't know what you guys mean by small. This place is vast.
Here's one that you'll appreciate. The Underground Railroad.
That's right.
Went through Salisbury.
I'm well aware. In fact, the only reason why I know that, this is going to sound crazy, but I know that because of my time at U-Haul, if you can believe that. Yeah, that's actually something that we talk about at U-Haul. There's a whole long history of all of that. But I will check it out. Doc, make sure you hit me up at reesonradio.com, okay?
We'll do. It's been a while, bud.
I know,
Thanks,
man.
brother.
I know. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Thank you.
Take care.
You got it. You too. Jeff is in Marlboro. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Reese? How you doing?
I am good. Long time no hear from.
Yeah, a little bit. So anyways, I work at a factory.
Okay.
So it's a plastic injection molding factory.
Ooh.
I was wondering if you might be interested in that, and if so, I could try and work that out with my boss.
Please.
Okay.
I would love to. In fact, hold on. I'm gonna
Right here.
I'm gonna do this here real quick. Hold on, give me a second, because I've got your number on the screen here, so I'm gonna make sure that I grab it and copy and paste it. Okay, I will give you a ring later on this week because I got a big thing happening. Hopefully tomorrow. By the way, you better pray for me. I need prayers on this one. It's a big deal. But I've got your number.
I'm always praying for you, man.
You got it. I appreciate you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the number here and I'm gonna send you a text so that you and I can hook up so we can. I know the weekend is probably not a good time, right? To go to the factory.
No, they're closed on the weekend.
Well, I would imagine it must. But as long as it's okay to come by in the morning, I'd love to.
Yeah, I just got to work it out with the boss man, see if he's open to it. But we've had high school kids in there before. There was some sort of competition in Connecticut to examine manufacturing in Connecticut,
right?
And we actually won. They made a great video, these kids, and yeah, it was really cool. So.
Yeah, well, please listen. Let your boss know, and you know what? I'll listen. If you tell your boss that he's going, like, if he's thinking about it, tell him to listen to the show, and I'll big him up.
Yeah, I could give him your contact information, or vice versa. Or
okay.
You know?
All right, you got it. Absolutely. And you know what, Jeff? Make sure that we get together sometime. How far are you out from here?
Where you live?
I'm in Farmington.
That's about 30 minutes, I think.
Let's get to listen. You know what? I'll work it out. I'll give you a holler soon. Okay.
Okay, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you, sir.
All right, later.
You got it. Let's go to Sammy V. No, sorry. Hold on. Is this Sammy V? This is not. No, this is Sam. Oh, what's up, Sam? How are you?
How you doing, Reese?
What's up, buddy?
I want to thank you, Roseanne, and everybody working with you to make a difference.
Thank you, man.
You guys are making a difference. It takes a little bit to get the ball rolling, but you guys are making a difference, and I appreciate it.
We really wanted to come here and to do something, not so much that hadn't been done before, but just something that hadn't been done in a long time. I think that we work best as a radio show and as a network when we are out and about and in the streets sort of connecting with you to let you know that you have somebody who's rooting for you or fighting for you inside and outside of these studios. So that appreciation means the world to us.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you all, guys.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Let me see. Tong says, so are you a talk show host or an investigative reporter? I'd like to fashion myself as a little bit of both. In doing this job, it is important to investigate the stories that you cover. You know, anybody could come here on the program and just, read to you a story in the news. This man did that, and a woman was there, and she did this, and the police came, and people were arrested. Back to you, Jim. I could do that all day, but then we would be NPR. And that's not what we do, My show is a little more involved, and I'm a gregarious person by nature. I like engaging with people. I love being out in the street, talking to people and finding out how they think and why they think. And I like answers. And to be honest with you, I'll say this before the break so you know, Tong. Truth is, I got sick and tired of yelling at the media for not doing the job that I can do myself. And I learned that. I learned that in sobriety. Never ask of others what you are not willing to do yourself. And that's what I'm doing. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Make sure you're here. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, my friend.
Reese, good night, Reese. Thank you very much. If you are heading on the westbound side of 84 into downtown Hartford right now, you're going to see slow traffic both the bridge out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue